Okay. So this was really just going to be a stream between me and MJTV. He's a little bit busy right now, so we're going to be waiting for him. Before he gets on here, though, and I know a lot of people aren't really going to be listening to this one. Like they didn't, a whole lot of people didn't listen to the last one either. But before we get started, I just want to just reiterate, as I will for every single one of these streams, this whole thing to me is just a way for me to kind of live throughout studying for the bar. I like live streaming. I always have. It's really fun to interact with people. And I knew that, when you put them on your original channels and everything that goes into that, the reason they take so long and people don't have the same type of retention. So, or at least that's what I've been told. It's kind of what I figured. So I just made an entire channel straight for live streaming. We can go as long as we want. We can have just as much as fun as we want. We can talk about anything. It's not subject to one topic or another or just a handful of things. We're literally going to be talking about everything on this channel. And one of the reasons I'm pretty excited for it. Plus, as I said, with bar prep and everything, I can't take the time to do as many videos as I would really like to because I'm giving around 8 to 10 hours a day in the early days of the studying habits. In the studying portion of this, just to kind of put everything together and make sure that I'm doing as much as I can to prep for that test. So this is going to help me survive and keep me sane during all of that. So excuse me right now, guys. This isn't really what I intended for this to be. I really wanted to have MJ on here straight away so we can jump right into this topic, but it feels like we're going to have to kill just a little bit of time. If he doesn't come on, because no one's going to be really watching these first couple of streams, I'm sure, until we get more and more people on here and try our best to get the discussions rolling, then I could always recycle this later if he just gets so caught up in what he's doing right now that he can't come in. Because for the most part, with nobody here, nobody talking, especially with these first couple, it's going to be hard for me to continually talk for a long time for one subject. It will just feel like a normal video. So give me a little time. Let's wait for him. But I'm going to have to explain this to him too, because, we hadn't had time to talk about what this was going to be and what I wanted to get from this. So yeah, hopefully he can. But let's take a moment, take a breath, and see if we can find somebody else who would be willing to come in and talk to us about this particular topic. Obviously, you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. We're going to be talking about spoilers in movie culture or just entertainment culture in general, and the benefits and the bad things that come with just everything related to that. What do we gain? What do we lose from policing each other on social media and everything surrounding discussions for our favorite entertainment properties, the stuff that we die to consume and die to talk about with our friends, family, loved ones, and even just strangers on the internet, so we can connect with them and have a really fun, great time doing so. And in fact, I feel like this is a real potent topic in 2019 because at the end of the day, 2019 is going to be probably one of the biggest years in cinematic history, just on television and movie screens. So many big things coming to an end or finding their ground, starting anew, and everything in between that we've been talking about, especially these last couple months, about spoilers and ideas that have been happening, like there's spoilers and concepts and plot points that if you spoil this for me, if you spoil it for anyone, it doesn't matter how small it is, then you could become a public pariah on social media, or maybe even public. I mean, when we saw Avengers Endgame come out, we saw a lot of different people posting videos, reactions, all this stuff about what happened when people got spoiled about the ending or what happened in that movie, and everything that went along with that opening weekend or those first couple weeks. Even the Russo brothers got into it the very first time and said, no spoiling Endgame until this particular date. We didn't even know what that date was until we got the confirmation that was the date or premiere date for the second trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home, which itself spoils Endgame. And you know what? Applause and kudos to Marvel and Disney and the MCU and just everybody involved with that, because because Spider-Man is a Sony product, and because they're in charge, they're going to be making all the money, at least from what we know from the deal, unless it's evolved since that first one. They're going to be ones making all the money from that movie. And it's really possible that this character, this movie, either does better because of Avengers Endgame, or it does just as well, or maybe just a little bit better than the last film, maybe even, disappoints in comparison. I'm not entirely sure. But you would imagine that because it's Sony's biggest movie coming out this summer, that they wanted to do their best to just allow that movie to do as best as it could. Selling it hard, make sure that people know that it's coming out and that they want to see it. They want to see Tom Holland reprise his role as Spider-Man in the next iteration of that movie. But because of the events of Infinity War, everyone knew that was always going to be a tough sell. They had to keep the secret in order to sell Endgame and make it a big thing. So the fact that the movie waited so long in order to give an idea of what the story was going to be about, and skipping over of probably a vast majority of what that movie's about in order not to spoil Endgame, in order not to put everything on the table and make sure that the audience knew what they were getting themselves into for Avengers Endgame, shows a remarkable amount of restraint for everything. Like, just from Sony, from Disney, from Marvel, just from everybody. And I think it's going to work out for them. We're just going to have to wait and see how Far From Home does in comparison to all the other Avengers movies and all the other MCU movies, especially the ones that came out this year, because there's a pretty high bar. With Captain Marvel making over $1 billion, Avengers kind of nipping at Avatar's feet at this point. This movie is going to have to make somewhere close to $1 billion, which would make it the most successful Spider-Man movie ever, in order to compete, or at least make it seem that even though Spider-Man has had what at this point it will be its 7th feature film, and then also the 9th Spider-Man movie, or at least the 9th movie where Spider-Man was a main focus, that's live action, 10th if you count Spider-Man Far From Home in just the last 18 years. I mean, that's pretty big. So who knows? It's going to be really interesting to see. But as I've said before, in terms of talking about spoilers, and I'm trying to keep it really vague here because I still am holding on hope that MJ is going to come on here at some point. If not, this is going to be a lot shorter than what I wanted. But I felt like he would have a really good insight onto this and spoiler culture, because him and I on YouTube, we grew up around the Dragon Ball fandom and everything related to that series. And in terms of spoilers, especially during Dragon Ball Supers, and I'm going to let MJ, if he ever decides to come on, talk about this, because I think he can say a lot to it. But when spoilers covering the news and all this other stuff, there was always this ever presence of, don't spoil me, you've spoiled me on this. And I felt like people with this culture today, with how everything, the narrative per se, the narrative of spoilers, the narrative of experiencing something for the first time to your own benefit, or is it your own benefit? That's the whole point. But experiencing something for the very first time is paramount to the viewing experience. Oh wait, he's here. Okay, great. Let's bring him into the call. Okay, man, we're live. No one's listening, but that's fine. This is MJ?
Hello.
What's up? Okay, yeah, like no one's, like, we only have like a couple people in here, and nobody's really talking or anything. I think like this was kind of last time we were talking for an hour before anyone really chimed in.
That's fine, bro. I'm here to talk to you. Let's do this.
Yeah, like that's exactly. So I'm gonna go over this spiel again just really quickly, because I was telling whoever's listening or who's going to be listening in the future, I was really trying to just kind of bite time until you came on, which, by the way, I haven't told you anything about this, but I'm really grateful that you wanted to come on and talk about this, because I think we can have a whole lot of fun, because I kind of found the idea of it as I was kind of sitting here talking to myself. So the whole point here, just so you know, you're up to speed and we can get straight into it, is the no spoiler culture in our entertainment realm today. The fact that you have to go and watch it without any context or with anything, and you go in, you experience it for yourself, and you rate it by yourself, and you have this emotional attachment to the movie that's purely based on the experience of watching it without any context of plot, narrative, the way it was, like a way something was filmed or brought together or anything, or what it really means or what story points really mean. You don't have any context of that going in, so you might be able to see the bigger picture before you literally see the bigger picture, and you're just experiencing it emotionally. Just all of this. And that's something that I feel right now is being pushed more than anything else. And especially with 2019, with the end of Game of Thrones and the end of this iteration of the Avengers with Endgame, John Wick, everything going on in the background, like Big Bang Theory even ended. And I saw people online going like, "Oh, no spoilers. I want to see how it ends. I need to see how it ends." And it's like, okay, that's the whole point. What are the benefits and the problems of this no spoiler culture? How do we interact with each other? And is it better for us, the consumer, to police ourselves in this environment? Or is this environment that we have kind of built up around ourselves more so a product of the people who make this entertainment and want as many people to watch it as possible? Like, you need to have your own experience watching this movie, and it's almost against the rules. It's almost it's a social no to say this is what happens in that show, this is what happens in that TV movie or something, and I liked it, I didn't like it, maybe you shouldn't go see it. And the more you don't know going in, the more you're just going to go watch it for yourself and have your own experience and everything. If that makes any real sense to you. And I felt like you and I could talk about this in a lot of different contexts, because you and I are fans of a lot of different things, but more so, and I wanted to jump off and ask you about this, your experience as well as my experience with Dragon Ball Super as it was airing, because I felt like in that community, probably more so than any other community, the concept of spoilers and what was and wasn't a spoiler was so jaded that it lost all sense of meaning. And I'm wondering if there's a community out there who thinks the same way like that.
Okay, well, first, let me go ahead and explain my thought process on spoilers before I answer those questions, because I feel like people have to understand where I'm coming from. So, me growing up, I've never had an issue with spoilers. I've never, ever had any sort of issue with knowing what's going to happen in any form of medium, whether it be a book, a TV show, a movie, etc. I'll give you an example. Me waking up, Sunday mornings, and there was a wrestling program on back in the day when I was younger, Heat. So I would find out about, what was going to happen that day. Maybe my dad caught it, maybe my dad didn't, or whatever, and he would let me know the next day. I didn't get to see it. I'd be hyped to see it, blah, blah, blah. So I was always, in that environment. My dad is very much like that, and I think I take after him. He does not care about spoilers. He always wants to know what's going to happen. It always helps him, I guess, get more into the experience. An example for him is like Breaking Bad, him asking me every single fucking episode, what's Walker gonna do? What's happening next? I'm like, just watch, dude. But, yeah. So I've always grown up in that environment, and I've never had an issue with spoilers whatsoever. So that's my mindset. I've always felt that knowing what's gonna happen, it makes me more invested, and it makes me want to go later and check that stuff out. Like, okay, Undertaker and Stone Cold, they brawled. Okay, I need to go see that. Yeah, okay, cool. Because my dad was explaining it to me, hyping it up, stuff like that. Oh, this such and such happens on The Walking Dead. Okay, I need to go see this. I need to go see what Rick does. People call this like the best moment of the series, right? Okay, that's how I've always felt. So going back to your question, yes, we do live in an environment with, okay, maybe we shouldn't say this. What's cautious? What's not cautious?
I'm opening up. Because I want to have a discussion on here, I'm opening it up to potential spoilers for everything here. We're gonna just talk about the whole point of this channel is just to cut back and let loose. Like, don't worry about what you say or what you do, any of it.
Okay, so that goes for the chat too. I assume Geekdom's already saying Saul sucks. So.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I like it, but whatever. That's
so you are right. We do live in an environment where That's how it is. And nowadays, people get scolded for saying something or showing a screenshot of something, and that's just what ends up happening. And I'm not too sure if I really enjoy that. I don't think that's right, but at the end of the day, that's just how things are. You are pretty much called out and scolded if you do post any form of spoilers. I know, like Barack, our friend, Saving the Bees, he does like a spoiler window, where after he sees like a new movie, like in game, for example, he'll say, "Okay, guys, no spoilers on the timeline. I'm gonna wait about 2 weeks, right?" So that's what he does. So he has like his own little, I guess, system that he does after something new that comes out. But I think just overall, I'm not a fan of that, and I feel like people should be able to say what they want to say. And I think spoilers, and that's my dog. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So
That's okay.
I think people, yeah, Luffy wants to be in here, but anyways, I think that's just the way things are. But I'm not too much of a fan of it. And going to Dragon Ball Super, again, the same mindset. And I know for a fact you're pretty okay with spoilers as well, because there was days where you had to miss a super episode, and then I would get on call with you later, and I'd be telling you about it, and you'd be giggling and all hyped up about it, like, oh shit, Goku did that. Oh shit, I gotta see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been under the mindset that spoilers are fine. I'm cool with knowing what happens. I'm cool with knowing how things happen, because I feel like once you actually sit down, and whether it's reading the book, whether it's watching a movie, all that stuff, there's more to it. There's more to just reading what happens online or reading on a piece of paper what happens versus actually seeing the art behind it, seeing how the director put it together, seeing how it plays out on the screen, seeing how this happened. I feel like they could still capture you. I feel like that's still there. The mystery and surprise, I still feel like can catch you even if you know what's going to happen because of the way it's painted on screen, or written out. I think that's how I've always viewed spoilers, But
I agree. You're right. Like, I have never had a huge problem with spoilers. One of the things I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do this, but because I've been sitting here for like 20 minutes, we've been talking. I want to just jump in because we're getting a bit of a comment. I want to try to keep up with the comments as much as I can. But the only ones besides Danny saying Saul sucks, which, I'll give it the dignity of saying that I understand where you're coming from. But when you're a huge fan of something like I am, obviously you like it. Anyway.
a little birdie told me that he actually wants to come into the stream, so he might be. So I don't know if you want to message him, see if he's still down.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
I'll ask him if he wants to come in.
Not coming me, coming you. So
The
that was so late.
That was bad. That was bad. Okay, Sayana Briefs though. She has two, or whoever, two things, right? So says, I get the opposite a lot. Sometimes knowing certain things don't make me want to see it as much anymore, like in game. I like warnings before the spoilers, so that you can decide for yourself if you want to know or not. Forced is always nice. I think unforced is always nice. Not forced is always nice. Whatever. Okay, I feel like there's a lot to talk about there, and I want to ask your opinion on that. But before we get into that, I agree. I understand where you're coming from. I have opinions on that, and I really want to focus on that in this discussion. But when it comes to Dragon Ball, because as I said, that's where you and I got our start on YouTube. It's kind of where we've flourished and made a lot of our friends.
It's our baby.
It is, yeah. It's the thing that we enjoyed watching, and it's like for me, it's really interesting because I felt like Super, when that was going on week to week, the amount of spoilers or newsworthy stuff that would come out was immense. I mean, we knew primarily what was going to happen weeks in advance, and because Super's not a really well-crafted story, you could see it. Like, you would still, like you said, experience it for yourself, and obviously watching it, even if you know what's going to happen, is still a fun experience, at least in my opinion, and yours as well. But there were people out there who thought, like, oh, Goku and Vegeta changing their gi, don't tell me that that's a spoiler. For Dragon Ball Super Broly, it's like, this is Planet Bonbon, whatever that one is, like, where Broly and Paragus are living. And there are people who's like, oh, I don't want to, this is a spoiler. It's like, it's not really a spoiler. Like, I feel like people have taken the concept of spoilers, and not just for Dragon Ball, but for almost everything, and really expanded them. Uh, they have their own definition as to what spoilers are. And, I don't think that's a bad thing. I just, there's no way to really address the situation if that's the way that we're talking about it. I feel like people don't, I feel like people take their time and they look at they take their time, they watch these things and they want to experience it for themselves. That's totally fine, and I get that. Like she said, Brief says, you want the choice in order to determine whether or not you want to watch it or not watch it. But there is a difference. I feel like there's a super difference, and because we're talking about anything and everything spoilers, I think that there's a huge difference.
There is a difference, and there's also like different levels to how people take and handle spoilers. For an example, I'll give you two big examples. Some people don't even like to watch the trailers, and I remember some people were actually saying during the Endgame stuff, "Oh man, this is spoilers, blah blah blah." I'm like, dude, relax. They showed like 5 minutes of total footage of like a 3-hour film. Like, fucking relax. It's like, just chill. Like, some people I think get too carried away with it. Also, I'm gonna bring up a good example of what you were talking about earlier with the environment that we're in. So this actually happened with a couple of friends of mine, and you know a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
So on Twitter, where you most likely get scolded for posting spoilers, Mr. Gohan, one of our favorites, has a gimmick where he posts screenshots of certain shows, and they're out of context. Like, they're basically out of context. And I remember one time.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so I remember on Twitter, Mr. Gohan, he does his gimmick where he posts like screenshots, out of context screenshots, mind you. But there was this one time where he was talking about other stuff, I guess, that didn't pertain to spoilers, and people were like muting him, or like, I remember he came into my server later and people got on his ass about it, and I'm just telling Bashar, like, hey man, it's your Twitter. Who gives a fuck what they say? Post what you want. Matter of fact, post right now what happens at the end of that series. I'm just like, of course he didn't do it. I didn't want to do it. I'm just saying, like, it gets to a point to where, like, if you start bombarding people by, hey man, fuck you, you put this out, I didn't want to know about this yet. Fuck you. It's like, dog, relax. It's his Twitter account. He can post whatever he wants. Blah blah blah. And I think that goes back to the type of environment we live in. Where nowadays you do get scolded for posting any sort of minor detail that may pertain to what you enjoy as a series in any medium, So.
I think you're really breaking up there, but no, I understand.
Oh, I'm breaking up? Okay, all right, hold on.
Just a little bit. No, I understand, and that's really what I feel about what Briefs was saying in the comments, and it's something you hear a lot. I'd kind of be lying if I said that this isn't a real concern for people. And one of the things I hear so many times on my channel, in the comment section, on Twitter, and the way that people interact with their entertainment, it's this concept of, I don't want to be spoiled, I appreciate a warning, and I want to be able to choose. And when people don't give you that choice, when people don't allow you to make that choice, or they force you, with air quotes there, to stumble into something, then somehow they've robbed you of an experience, and something is, when you go in, it's not going to be as good as it would be if you had gone in with absolutely no knowledge whatsoever. And I hear this argument a lot, and it's not that I don't want to give it some credence. I want to be sympathetic to the people who believe this and the people who have experienced these situations before, because I think in certain cases I have as well. So I'm not going, my intention isn't to be rude on that concept. It's really, I personally think that you have, I personally think, I'm on the internet. I'm on the internet constantly. Twitter, YouTube, all my new movie news sites, everything. And I hear these people saying, I can't avoid spoilers. People spoil it for you. And I think, I don't understand that. because I never have had a problem avoiding spoilers. And maybe that does boil down to my mindset. Like, I just don't care about spoilers. I don't care that people will spoil me on this, that, or the other. But at the same time, when it's something like Endgame, when it's something like Game of Thrones or something else like that, the spoilers are out there. Everyone reports or talks about the spoilers being out there. Oh my God. So once I hear that, I just stop paying attention. I don't have to go mute words or do anything else like that. At the same time, I feel like if I were to ever say, and I have in the past, and people do, they jump down your throat about it if you don't give a warning. Even if you do give a warning, they're like, you spoiled me. Is like, I'm pretty sure when we were talking on that discussion video or something, we put at the very front, like, we're going to be talking about spoilers here, and y'all need to jump off. I mean, obviously, I think that's that's part of the problem. If we don't understand as a community or as a group, a society, what the concept of spoilers means, if it's big plot points, if it's the entire story, if it's small design details for characters on Dragon Ball, or various, or location shooting for The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones or something else like that, and somehow that's a spoiler. It's like, no, I mean, it's just a news update, and it's just something that you either are going, like, you don't know anything about that. It's just something behind the scenes. It doesn't really play too much into the plot. I mean, we're at a point now where Wikipedia, did you see this? Like, I feel like this is one of the biggest reasons we need to stop this as a society. But we're at a point now where Wikipedia has changed its website to include a spoiler warning for the plot summary that it posts. Like,
Really?
I mean, to me, like, that see, this is that to me is crazy, because that's the whole point. Like, why, who's reading that and it's like, hey, you spoiled me? It's like, no, you read the plot. It's a pretty detailed plot summary on every Wikipedia page too. Like,
They typed in the name of whatever it was. They went to the page. They went to the part where it says plot and clicked on it
and read it and read that 5-page outline. It was like, I wish it wasn't spoilers. Like, oh my God. Like, I think that that's a big problem, and I feel like there's just this part of me in the back of my mind that looks at this, the way that we're discussing this as a society and the way that we're interacting, to the point where people are getting beaten up. People are literally getting beaten up outside of movie theaters a month or so ago after they spoiled the ending of Endgame during the the opening weekend or the second weekend or something, but somebody hadn't seen it. They talked about it in the theater, and the guy beat them up, and that was newsworthy. That's reacting too much. That's putting too much confidence, emotion, and everything into something. And it's always crazy to me. And I want your opinion on all of this. I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but I think that this is something that is really interesting to say, and I because you and I talk about Dragon Ball, and Danny, if he ever gets in here, we talk about Dragon Ball. We have fun. We talk about all of these things that we know and love, and we obsess over. And then I hear about these people who are beating people up in parking lots. I hear about these people who are obsessing over concepts and fictional characters and storylines so much that they're willing to harm other people or threaten other people or insult, jump down, and put them through the ringer of social shame. And I'm thinking, I don't love anything that much to jump down someone's throat because they talked about a plot point that I wanted to experience myself.
Yeah, it's a fucking movie. I feel sorry for any old man with a cane was walking out of Endgame that night, man. Jeez. But no, but that's just my thought process on it. And I feel like we do live in this, like you said in the title, this no spoiler culture, and I think for the most part it is pretty ridiculous. At least some of the examples that we brought up, people getting shamed like on Twitter for just talking about their favorite show, and or like you said, somebody getting beat up outside of a theater over in-game stuff. So
You're
it's just like
you're
that's ridiculous.
you're still so I know, but because I'm picking you up and putting you on here, I normally wouldn't say anything, but you're just so choppy.
All right, well, me bounce again and I'll come right back.
All
See
right,
that helps.
we'll be right back, guys. Maybe it's just because we changed channels. I'm not sure. But I, guys, if you're here, comment because we're gonna be going through your comments and we want to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions on this topic because, I mean, obviously this is so broad. But MJ's
Yo,
back. Are you? Yeah, you sound good now. You were saying?
I was just saying, yeah, this whole, like you said in the title, no spoiler culture is pretty ridiculous. We've brought up many examples of like my friend who pretty much just got shamed on Twitter for talking about a series that he enjoys, or somebody getting beat out of the theater, after the movie ends, getting beat up over that. That's again, that's ridiculous. And I agree with you. I don't think I love anything as much to do that. I mean, that's to cause physical harm to another person over this stuff. I mean, maybe if it was like a personal family thing, maybe they assaulted or attacked your wife, then maybe verbally assaulted or something. Okay, then maybe. But over a movie, dude. I mean, I've been watching Dragon Ball for years. I've been invested in Dragon Ball for years upon years. Still, I wouldn't beat up somebody over something involving Dragon Ball.
Oh my, yeah. No, I wouldn't either. I'm gonna jump off the call too because I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because we switched channels. I don't know. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll be right back. All right.
Hello.
Yeah. All right. So no, and that's the thing though. Like, okay. Can I say I want to just jump in here, and I really wish that like Danny would come in here. I know he's busy. He wants to, but I think he could talk to this a little bit. He knows my frustration with it. But I'm wondering, like, seriously, where did this come from? Where did our no spoiler culture come from? Because I understand we've always had spoiler warnings and no spoiler culture for the most part, but is this something that has been kind of looming in the background, people going out of their way, shaming people and not wanting to be spoiled, acting out in public if they get spoiled, all this other stuff? Is this something that has been growing? Was there just a moment where this became acceptable, or someone promoted the ever living hell out of this concept of you need to see this immediately and you need to see it for yourself, experience it for yourself, and not talk about it? Or probably more so, is it just a concept of social media, the boom of social media, and these properties coming to an end? So social media, obviously, it gives people anonymity. You don't have to really question or look someone in the face when you criticize them or do anything that might physically or emotionally harm them, like spoil something, or because, to everyone out there in the ether who might come across your tweet or your video or something else like that, whether you put a caution, spoiler warning, or anything, obviously you cannot protect everyone, and people are going to be negligent themselves by clicking on it and listening like halfway into the spoiler and realize that they're being spoiled even though you warned them before, or even if you didn't, right? So, because most things like, okay, at the end of the movie, this, and then obviously you need to be clicking off the video there if you don't want to be spoiled. But the reason everyone has this anonymity in on the internet, it amplifies their personality, and that's one of those things. Like, obviously most people want to experience things on their own. They want to have the pleasure of watching things for the first time in their own realm, and they don't want to be spoiled. But because someone might do that, or because someone might not care what other people think of them for doing that, they realize that they can spoil, Or if someone spoils them, they lash out at them. They attack them online, and they're like, "Oh, you spoiled, blah blah blah. You know, I hate you. Blah, blah, like you're terrible." Social media shaming. Is that the reason, or is there some other cause that I'm not really looking at? And to preface all of this, we'll save that later. We'll save that for later. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that this is something that's always been there and social media has made it worse, or is it growing out of something?
I do think that social media did have a play in it. An example would be probably internet trolls, because, and this is one of the reasons I actually do not buy with the no spoiler culture. Oh wait, can you hear me? Does that sound
Yeah,
right?
you're still. Before you go on, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, people, because we kind of jumped in on this without really figuring any of this out. Is there a place we can do this where this would be better? Because you know Discord better than I do.
Maybe in your server?
Sure.
You have to lock the room though, that way no one else joins. Unless you want them to. It's up to you.
No, we'll lock the room.
Okay.
Give us 1 second. All right, what's up?
Does that sound better?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Okay, in order for you to lock the room,
Permission?
yeah, permission, right click and just lock it to where only like one person can, like two people can join.
Uh,
Okay, so what you do is on the name Real Talk,
mm-hmm.
right click it.
Yeah.
It'll say edit channel, and it'll say user limit, and then put it at two people. It'll be like a little bar, just drag it.
Okay, cool.
All right. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So I was just saying, one of the reasons why I actually don't vibe with no spoiler culture is because of the fact of trolls. Now, internet's already a pretty scary place, but this whole no spoiler culture just adds another level of trolls being able to control someone's excitement or enjoyment. What I mean by that is, obviously, people get so worked up over getting spoiled by any sort of enjoyment in any sort of medium, whether it's a movie, a book, TV show, whatever, that they do not want to see that. They don't want to see any material, that is considered a spoiler revolving around any of that stuff. And it's become a thing now where trolls get their rocks off by, they find amusement in ruining that for somebody. And it just gives more power to people like that on the internet, and that's just something I've never really been a fan of. And I feel like it's gone to a point to where it's always been there, Mark, I think, we've seen stuff like this in the 80s and 90s over like certain actors being picked, and they're, and people find out about it and then, spoil the material for movies, stuff like that. But it's always been there. I think social media did have a hand in increasing it. But much like anything, when laws are changed or times change, we pretty much just adapt to them, And I think right now people are adapted to this. I mean, look at the Homecoming trailer. The Homecoming trailer started off with Tom Holland doing the whole spoiler thing, remember? So it's like we were just so adapted to it now. It's like a common thing.
Exactly. And it's weird. I agree. I hadn't even really thought of the whole spoiler culture being started by internet trolls and them just getting their rocks off on the concept of spoiling people. And like I said, this is why we need to get Danny in here for this limited purpose, because I feel like he could speak a lot to the concept of internet trolls coming in and spoiling The Force Awakens. I feel like if I was gonna give any if I was gonna give any idea of like what started it, or when I felt like this became a big deal, like, do not spoil the movie for me before I go see it. And I'm sure that was around. Maybe I just wasn't involved in the online culture the same way that I am now, and I was at the time that The Force Awakens comes out, because obviously I wasn't. But
right.
I don't remember, at least in my circles, people being as uppity about spoilers around the time the Avengers came out, right? As opposed to when online trolls figured out the ending of The Force Awakens, and they were posting it just as random comments on people's videos. Like it didn't even have to do anything with Star Wars. It was just like they were just going around and posting it and putting everything up on the board. And it's and that to me is interesting, because if that's true, if that is true, that this all started with The Force Awakens, in terms of internet trolls, the rise of them, kind of militarizing or weaponizing this concept of information on what's happening to any given movie at any given time, then I have to say, I think we can put a little bit of blame on J.J. Abrams. It's no secret, if you've talked to me for any length of time, you know that I don't really particularly like J.J. Abrams as a creative force.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I feel like it's a little bit justified, and I keep finding ways, stupid or not, but I keep finding ways to chip away at him in one way or another. I feel like he's a person, he's a character that tries so desperately to grab on, to make his movies, to tailor make every single property that he has his fingers in such a way that harkens back to an era where he grew up in, where it was possible to stumble into things like Indiana Jones, like the very first Indiana Jones, at a special screen, like a midnight screening or something, you know, like, or a matinee, not knowing anything about it, not caring about any of it, and just being like, wow, it was the best movie of all time. Or the original Star Wars stuff, anything that George Lucas or Steven Spielberg made in the 70s and 80s and everything in between, and just being like, wow. And then I feel like his whole personality is, the internet has ruined that, because there's just so much information. Everyone wants to talk about this property or that property and everything that has to do with it. I want to know more and more and more. People, paparazzi, everyone on sets taking pictures, everyone on the internet seeing that, trying to working out everything that is involved with that. I need to keep it secret. We need to keep everything and everyone away from what's going on. And then somehow, strangely enough, that mentality is heavily involved with this first wave. Now we're like, what, in terms of Star Wars, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and everything in between, and where it's branched out into everything, Marvel and Doctor Who and all these other people. But this first wave of trolls living and breathing off of the knowledge of, off of the material, the knowledge, and the of spoilers and plot and what's happening and what happens in a story, to weaponize it and use it against anyone who dare say anything about their agenda or anything else like that. Because I experienced that too. For Endgame, there was a guy I had to block on Twitter. I don't usually block people, but there was a guy I blocked on Twitter as I was studying for finals. Very hard time. And he said something to me. He said something to me insulting, so I kind of, played back, but in like a less fun way. And then his next thing out of nowhere was a spoiler for Endgame. And I had already seen the movie and I didn't really care, but I thought, like, that's a weird response. Like, that's a troll, that's a dick move. And I feel like that's problematic, and I feel like it's kind of ironic that I feel like that's kind of ironic to do that. Let's jump back into the call, because Danny wants to come back in. Or
all right,
yeah.
Oh, you want to bring him in here?
I guess I could. It doesn't. It's not helping your voice any, so we can just jump back into that call.
Okay. All right.
Yo. Hello.
Hey.
Danny, he'll
be coming.
He'll be coming, yeah.
He'll come.
Oh, he's here. What is live reels? What is that?
That's his 18th channel.
It's my 18th channel. Because I'm studying for the bar right now. I just felt like this would be an easier way to do videos. So
what kind of bar are we talking about, bro? Candy bar, fucking one at the gym, or that lawyer?
My type of bars, who knows?
Hey, bro, get your bar degree. You can make streams every night like Nick Rekieta and make a lot of fucking money on YouTube, bro. You should. Sorry, I cursed. I'm trying not to here.
Oh, don't worry about
you
it
can
on this
curse,
channel,
bro.
This is one of the reasons I made a third channel for just this purpose. It's like kind of like a podcast thing where I could just come on and talk about just anything.
A third channel. Listen to him.
But I want Danny.
Hey, Stayana's in there.
Yes,
my milk of magnesia.
By the way,
you broke the mold.
By the way, before you get Danny's thoughts on all this, I finally found something I wanted to make note of in this stream. So I don't know how much you guys actually follow like Stephen King, like when it comes through his Twitter account or like his his interviews and stuff, but he's always been like against the whole no spoilers, So I wanted to actually read it.
He buries fucking I like when
he buries a lot of people.
Twilight, bro. When he buries Twilight.
He had this to say about no spoilers. So in an interview about his Dark Tower series, I believe he was doing it because it's like a Marvel comic adaptation. They asked him, the first few novels, are they going to ruin someone's enjoyment of the comic? And then his response was, you might as well say I'm never going to watch Wizard of Oz again because I know I know the outcome. So he's always been like against, the whole no spoiler stuff, you know what I mean? Who gives a shit? If you like something, you're gonna enjoy it, and if you don't want to see it, you're just gonna look the other way. That's like always been his mindset. So yeah, I just wanted to make note of that because Stephen King always found like a wacky character. So But
the issue is not with spoilers and non-spoilers. The issue is when people are trying to avoid spoilers, and you have assholes purposely ruining stuff for them online. That's the problem. The problem is never your choice on whether or not you want spoilers. The problem is when you have people actively going out there trying to ruin people's enjoyment of a film or a TV show because of them being pricks. There's no other reason than that. Why would you make an animated GIF of something from Endgame and spam people with it? Because you are purposely trying to piss people off.
Mm-hmm.
And I dealt with this today with on Facebook. I'm really sick and tired of people on the internet. I've had it with the internet. Like I hate the fact that I work on the internet because of this kind of shit. Because it's just like people are purposely douchebags and do whatever they want, and I'm so sick of people being dicks and getting away with it. I'm so sick of it, and that's a dick move. Posting Han Solo getting killed in Force Awakens. Spoiler alert. I guess I'm a dick now for a movie that came out 4 years ago. Posting that randomly in Facebook groups because you hate the fact that the EU got decanonized, you're a dick. You're a fucking whore. You're a fucking douchebag.
See, we were talking about that before you came on, and I wanted to get your opinion on it because MJ brought up, I was asking him, like, what started this? Obviously, people have always had an issue with spoilers one way or the other, but I felt like, and it really feels like this has become a huge issue recently. I mean, just looking back and with our experience, like just as the basis for this entire discussion with Dragon Ball Super, the concept that people were complaining to you, MJ, myself, spoilers about news leaks that were coming directly from Japan, official news leaks. Oh, that's a spoiler. It's like, no, it's a synopsis. Like, you need to understand what a spoiler is. And
yeah, most of what Danny and I covered were just basically just magazines you can buy over there. Just all they were.
Exactly. And so this concept that spoilers, what people believe or perceive as spoilers, is changing, and it's never consistent.
Actually, I'm going to hit you with something that might shock you. The Super stuff actually kind of was in some ways a spoiler, and I'll tell you why. Because we got the magazines on Thursday because they leaked early online from a distributor. The magazines don't actually hit the shelves until that Monday. So we were putting out super spoilers for episodes that were going to air the next week or that week. Actually, it was the next week, because remember, it was always a week behind, because that was the TV Guide preview for Monday. So in not every case, but in many cases, it actually was a leak. Mm-hmm. One thing I learned is to make sure that you just say spoiler alert. and I do that in every video. People still bitch.
Mm-hmm. And so, but MJ brought up this concept that, at least as far as his knowledge, one of the things that really made this a huge deal, this whole non-spoiler culture and the way that we've really reacted to it, is the fact that these online trolls, people who can get away with saying anything and doing anything they want, and they don't have to worry about getting beaten the hell up, the fuck up, after a movie screening or something like that. As it was reported with Endgame, them going online, spoiling everything, and just everything related to that is what really has built up this anti-spoiler culture. And I was telling him I wanted your opinion on this because the first time I really remember this in any pop culture relevant thing
I
at
can
all,
tell you what my first time, but you go first.
The Force Awakens, what you just said, like
No.
in terms
Wait,
in terms of
what are we talking about exactly?
in terms of online trolls weaponizing information of everything of what happens in a movie and using it to their advantage to spoil people online.
That was the first time you experienced that.
That's the first time I experienced, and I didn't really care. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I knew that was a huge deal.
The first
Right.
time I ever experienced spoiler culture and like people doing like heavy spoilers like on the internet was for the Matrix sequels in 2002, 2003. There were message boards. There were actual. I was a part of this. I was super hyped for those films. There was and by the way, I don't have my headphones on, so if you hear an echo, that's why.
Okay.
I'm gonna move far away from the computer right now, or at least far away from and turn you down a little bit so it doesn't end up being a problem here. But what I was gonna tell you was when the Matrix sequels were coming out, 2 and 3, there was all kinds of stuff on the internet, including leaked like trailers for the film that were unfinished, including like scenes of unfinished Sentinels invading Zion that looked like sperm because they weren't CGI. So it was like little squids that looked like sperm. And actually, before that, I remember in 2002, there were Actually, you know what? I'm wrong. 02, Attack of the Clones. That's when the spoilers started to come out. If you're old school,
Attack of the Clones,
you
man.
remember this guy named Super Shadow. And Super Shadow was notorious for posting fake and real spoilers online for Star Wars prequels. He claimed to be friends with George Lucas. This guy was like, I don't want to bring up you know who, bro, but let's just say he was a pathological liar. Let's leave it at that. And turns out that he was some guy in North Carolina who was like a lawyer or something. He went around saying he was a model and that he worked for Lucasfilm. It was all a lie. But anyways, that's the first time I remember anything like that being the case. But in the social media era, I got one better for you. You're wrong. It wasn't Force Awakens. As far as people purposely ruining stuff for others, Harry Potter was the first time.
Yeah.
Snape kills Dumbledore.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot about Snape kills Dumbledore.
Yeah.
There were YouTube videos. I was watching this was a long time ago on YouTube. I was watching like a rap video. I think it was Puff Daddy. And there's a comment in there, Snape kills Dumbledore, right after book 6 came out. People were doing that on videos that had nothing to do with the topic at hand, just to be dicks. That's the first time I remember that happening was Harry Potter.
You're right. I remember that. I remember the outrage. I was never a huge Harry Potter fan, so I guess that's why I don't remember it or it doesn't pop into my head, because I had friends who were devastated because they got the books at midnight. They were that group, and they were just like, they heard that stuff. It became viral within hours. Like within like an hour, that became viral, and people throwing it at everybody. It was just all over YouTube and Facebook and everything. So many different videos of people like having just bad reactions to hearing that without any context. And that to me is like the weirdest thing about all of this is people get so involved and so emotional about this concept of spoiler. Oh, I'm not going to be able to experience in that way. But just because you know Snape kills Dumbledore is 3 words. You don't know how it happens or the context or anything. And
yeah, but it's still a big twist in that book, bro.
Sure it is. And it's the same thing like Han Solo dies at the end of the Force Awakens, which is less of a twist, I would imagine, because if you know anything about Star Wars, anything, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who do, you know that Harrison Ford...
Well, that's the issue, is that a lot of people did not know, bro. Like, not everybody's as hardcore as we are. You know what I mean?
But, like... But Harrison Ford has made it so.
That's not
Really?
public information, bro. That's stuff that movie fans know.
It's crazy.
Casual popcorn people don't care about that kind of stuff.
Maybe.
They don't look into Harrison Ford behind the scenes or any of that stuff.
Harrison Ford behind the scenes.
I know where he's going with it. And it's like, no, like I'm telling you, most people, dog, listen to me. I knew that Captain America was going to grab that freaking hammer when Age of Ultron ended. I said during the Thanos thing, he's going to grab the hammer and use it on Thanos.
Mhm.
During Age of Ultron, there were people in the movie theater. What? What? Oh my God. What? And it was the most obvious thing they were going to do.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean,
I'm
as
telling you,
as
dog,
soon as he gets it back,
You
you're like,
overestimate the intellect of casual people, bro.
and that's the thing, though. Like, I mean, like, maybe that's just me. Like, maybe this is just my personal bias, but it's like, it's probably why I don't care that much about spoilers. Like, I don't care about being spoiled one way or the other because it's just, it is what it is. I know that there's no real context there, even if it's a huge twist. Like, I still don't know how or why it leads to that. And just knowing that, watching it, experiencing it, understanding that that's going to happen at the end of any given movie or scene or anything, I feel like you experience it different. And that to me is one of the more important things to talk about here is if you know what's going to happen without any real context or anything, but you just have like a 3-line Snape kills Dumbledore concept, then when you're reading it for the first time and you know that's going to happen, you see all the interconnectivity. And I guarantee you, unless you're a super fan of these things, and I know a lot of people are, but a lot of people don't go out of their way and they don't reread or rewatch movies multiple times, right? You don't get a chance.
Yeah, he did.
You don't get a chance to experience it any other way than the way that you experienced it when you first watch it. And at least from my perspective and the way that I've always watched entertainment and media,
Don't you watch entertainment with your shirt off, rubbing oil on your nipples? Isn't that something you do? Is that just you? Or is
That's
that
just me.
I think there's also son TJ too, but
Son TJ absolutely. Son TJ has to have at least 2 mirrors on him at all times, bro.
he comes out looking like
Movie,
Batista,
dog,
bro.
Where he's got 3 or 4 mirrors with the girls holding him when the fireworks going off. That's Son
Yeah.
TJ right there, bro. Him and what's his guy's names? JRZ saying, bro. They
Yeah.
love
Oh, yeah.
themselves, bro. I thought Ravishing Rick Rude passed away. I guess not.
So
Yeah,
I will say though, I think the point of this is just the no spoiler culture. I just can't vibe with it because of the way I was just raised and the way I perceive spoilers. I just don't care. But at the same time, I can respect people who do care. However, the way things are, and like in the current age that we're in, it's gone to a point to where this whole no spoiler shit has dipped into such unnecessary ways of just publicly shaming people. Like a guy saying something and he gets physically harmed outside of theater from Endgame, or like, I mean, yeah, so what if you're a fucking comic book fan or you've been
No, he
invested,
deserves it.
if you're invested in these movies? I mean, is just because Danny makes a video on something he's been invested in for 20 years, am I gonna go beat him up? Yeah, who gives a fuck? It's a cartoon, bro. It's Dragon Ball.
No, but
Who
if
gives a
you're in
shit?
the movie theater and you're spoiling shit for people on purpose, you deserve to get your ass kicked. I'm sorry. I disagree with you.
I don't
If you're
agree
in
with
the
that.
movie
But second,
theater,
hold on, let me finish.
You're talking
But-
shit, spoiling it for people who you don't even know. You deserve to get.
But I'm gonna hit you with this
Oh,
though.
man.
I'm gonna hit you with this though. What if you're just on your own? And I brought this up as an example. If you're just on your own Twitter account talking about something that's like 2 or 3 years old, and it's gone to this whole point where people are like, no spoilers, no spoilers. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker.
No, that's different. You're
That's
talking
my
about-
point. I'm just saying, to the point to where it's gone to physical harm, and it gets to the point to where you're talking about something you like, and you still get shamed for it because people are so invested in this whole no spoiler shit. I just can't vibe with that. I just don't.
Yeah,
care.
but you know what? I can't buy with motherfuckers making threats on Twitter. Like, yeah, you spoil something, the guy's a dick, but man, I'm gonna go kick your ass. No, you're not. You ain't gonna do
you
shit.
ain't gonna do shit, bro.
You ain't gonna do shit.
Ain't gonna do
that's,
shit.
that's the big problem with all of this is
How many times have I straight up told motherfuckers where I'm gonna be at publicly and nobody's ever stepped up? I get more haters than any of y'all.
mhm.
I haven't had a
Mhm.
single
Combined.
motherfucker step up to me, bro. I mean,
Fine.
I'm not even in. I mean,
Well,
dude,
most people don't hate me,
beat
bro. I'm
up,
too lovable.
I'm ill. I mean, if someone wanted to come take a swing at me, go for it. You might even knock me out. You
Mhm.
better hope you knock me out. You better pray you fucking knock me out. But nobody's ever tried anything.
All right.
Watch your leader, they're pussies, bro. I said this on the NBA stream.
Uh-huh.
If you threaten somebody on the internet, you are a pussy. That's the truth. There's no way around it. You are a pussy if you threaten somebody over the internet who you don't know.
You also got to be aware when you make those threats that you're treading lightly, because at the same time, even though it's just the internet,
Oh, you'll get doxxed. You'll get
yeah, you never know who you're fucking. You never know who you're fucking with. You may wake up with your fucking. You may wake up with your tires slashed, your fucking windows broken in. Like, you just don't know, dog. These people may have friends in your area. I'm not gonna get into stories here because that's private stuff. I'm just saying you should be aware.
Stories, shit. Let's just say that a certain someone is lucky they got their channel deleted and that's it, bro. It could have been a lot worse.
Oh yeah.
The point is, now here's the question though. How and this is where everybody gets to a fight. When is spoilers okay? How much time? Is it a week, 2 weeks, a month? What?
I think it depends on the cultural relevance of what you're talking about. So like when it comes to Endgame.
Also, I want to ask about the Sayana thing in a minute, but you go ahead because I have to address something she said. But
oh yeah, of course. I mean that's great. But when it comes to like something like Endgame made $1.2 billion in its opening weekend.
Yeah.
Damn near everybody who was going to see it saw it in the first week. In the first week of this first weekend. Like,
but you never know, man. Not everybody has money.
You know, I understand, but like it's weird to me, like what MJ was saying, right? So you're talking about it on your own personal account, Twitter. It doesn't matter how big you are. You want to talk about it. You've built up this little audience that we can talk about it, and you want to be sensitive. And it's a little bit different for all three of us talking here because we're content creators in one way or another, and we have to kind of watch what we say, but we're talking about different people who don't really care, people who just have a small Twitter following, who make a comment about a film, maybe it goes viral, or maybe somebody who's not supposed to see it, or they didn't know who was going to see it, sees it and thinks that, oh my God, that's a spoiler, and they get mad at that person and they might publicly shame them. That was going on a lot during the first couple days that Endgame was out. And it's weird to me because isn't that the whole point of social media, is to share your experience and not really share your experience, talk with people and not really worry about that stuff? Yes, you can talk about the moral implications of some people don't have the money to see it. Some people don't have the time to see it. They're going to see it at some point one way or the other. But you're talking about a movie that broke all types of records in its first weekend. Damn near everyone who was going to see it or even wanted to see it, who wants to talk about it immediately, has already seen it. It's fine. Other things, though, I don't know. Like, because other things that aren't so popular, maybe those things don't need to be talked about immediately because a lot of people haven't seen it, but at the same time, the people who want to see it have already seen it, or at least potentially have already seen it. Maybe the biggest difference here, and the best example, is one that you already brought up with something like Snape kills Dumbledore, because a book is different than watching a movie or watching a television show.
A book takes longer to read.
It takes longer to read, and people have way different reading habits. So that's a huge dick move. That is way too soon.
I mean, but again, when is it safe? And I want to address something that Sayana said. So Sayana said she was spoiled on Tournament of Power Crone's elimination. Here's the thing. Anime is completely different. Because you are choosing to wait for the dub and not watch it subtitled, you have no excuse and no leg to stand on when it comes to being spoiled. Now, I understand that you don't want spoilers. I get it. But Dragon Ball Super has been over since March of 2018. There have been literally over a year to catch up on everything. If you are out there and you're waiting for the English dub, you're doing it to yourself. I mean, you really are. And is that Toei's fault? Yes. Toei should have given Funimation the license sooner. I have heard a lot of actors complain about this to me, including Chris Sabat himself. The issue is that anybody out there who wants to wait for a dub that you know is far behind the anime, if it's 1 or 2 weeks, okay. Like for My Hero, they were about 2 weeks behind, I think, when they were running. But for Dragon Ball, it's like they're not going to be done till October. So with this dub, so yeah, that's the problem. Is there's really no such thing as especially now. See, it's one thing if it was like pirated and bootlegging and all that stuff. Like that's one thing. Like that's fine. Like that's that. If someone's pirating Super illegally, that's different. But Crunchyroll and Verve are less than $10 a month. You can catch up with the anime whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying about people who are dub watchers. Now, again, anime is different because with anime, it's like. But the thing about me is, I'm like Bindle, like he said in the chat. I don't really care that much about spoilers. I mean, in some cases I do, in other cases I don't. With Dragon Ball, I have accepted the fact that I'm going to be one of the spoiler guys, and I'm going to be spoiled. I've accepted that. Nothing can change that.
Mm-hmm.
For other things like Endgame, I'm curious. People out there are very, very curious. I understand that, but Crunchyroll is free, so that doesn't work. Crunchyroll is 100% free. It just has ads. Like with things like Star Wars, maybe not so much anymore, but now I don't want to be spoiled. And if you remember, for Last Jedi, before I knew that movie was terrible, there were spoilers everywhere that week. There were spoilers everywhere that week. And what ended up happening was I avoided them. I'll never forget, real to real, bro. I'm in bed and I'm on Twitter and I'm like so scared to even look at anything. I just laid there for a whole day, just just trying to avoid everything. And I still had somebody say that Luke Skywalker died, and I still thought they were trolling because you don't know who's really telling the truth and who's lying, you know? Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I was more pissed off at the execution. We've been through that before. But when it comes to things like that, I was obsessed with not being spoiled on Last Jedi. In fact, even the promotional material was like, do not spoil this movie. Same thing with Endgame. They really want to, that is a new thing. I have never seen
I would
a
say,
promo.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that's a new thing because Hitchcock, I think Hitchcock was the first to do that with Psycho. And
but that was about 300 years ago, bro. I mean, that was when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, bro. We're talking about in this culture, dog. I've never seen a trailer on TV actually tell you don't spoil the movie, bro.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, and that's really part of it too. Like, that's actually the more interesting thing here to me is that we have this culture of no spoilers that's growing on social media, and a lot of that, as we've already talked about, is due to trolls. It's due to this discussion about when is the proper time, who can talk about it versus who can't, and all of this. And it's weird to me that we have now with Far From Home, that trailer with Tom Holland coming in, spoiler warning, blah blah blah, all of it. You have
at least they gave us the courtesy of doing that, though.
Maybe, but think of it obviously the second trailer for Far From Home is huge spoilers, right? But think of it this way too. This is also like a multi-billion-dollar companies kind of languishing and profiting in the fact that they know the people who are watching this stuff don't want to be spoiled, or at least feeding that narrative that you shouldn't be spoiled and you should watch it on your own. But who's going to profit from that if not them? So,
well, in some ways, spoilers can actually benefit, because if you hit the spicy spoiler, it might entice people to go see the movie. Like Gogeta, for example. Gogeta was done on purpose by Toei to tell you, hey, you like fusion? Gogeta's in this fucking movie. All right. And Sayana mentioned, I don't know if they did that in the theater. Sayana mentioned merch leaks. That's another thing that, again, that's internet shit. We didn't deal with that when we were kids. That's an internet thing.
Yeah.
Because,
merch.
However, it did exist to a degree. Because when I was a little kid, I distinctly remember seeing the Thunderzords from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on a commercial before I even saw before the episodes even aired.
Right.
Before they ever aired season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they were promoting the fucking Thunderzords on TV in the same time slot. They purposely spoiled the next upgrade in power, dog.
Mm-hmm.
They do that shit.
I can't remember. Remember, I was younger during that time, but I was watching that show. Did it take them the first the first season to get the Zoids?
Season 2 was the Thunderzord, yes.
But those were long seasons. Wow.
Season 1 was 60 episodes because they had to. Originally, it was 40 episodes, And what happened was they ran out of footage, so they commissioned Toei. They ran out of Ranger footage,
Mm-hmm.
so they commissioned Toei to actually custom film 20 additional fight scenes. So they added 20 extra episodes to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with Japanese footage that did not exist in Japan. The Japanese never even saw this footage until Mighty Morphin aired over there, and it was all extra footage. That's the only time they've ever done that, like ever, where there is extra footage for a show done by Toei, by the Japanese, that never aired in Japan, except for when Mighty Morphin aired. Like, it didn't air as part as Ranger.
Critical Geek says, yes, they did that. Geekdom 101 is right. So, yeah,
Of
you're
course
right.
I'm always right. Yeah, that's what happened. Like, that's legit what happened. So then for season 2, they decided, and by the way, that footage I told you about, it's actually more than 20 episodes. They actually had an additional 15 episodes for season 2. And what they did was, and this is very hard to see when you're a kid, but now when you're a grown-up, you can see it. For season 2 of Power Rangers, they would intercut the Ju 2 footage with the Thunder Zord footage from Die Ranger. So you had these mech fights that weren't even real fights. It was like intercutting from 2 different shows. It was really bad.
I do remember that.
And,
I do.
Yeah,
like,
and they kept...
It never makes sense.
No, I never. You saw like the Megazord swing his sword. Then it would cut to the monster taking a bump. He would take a bump. Oh! But they never actually showed the Megazord sword hitting him. And they also kept the original costumes because they felt like if they changed the costumes that it would people would be so they were so used to Power Rangers being so big that they would just lose interest. So they didn't use the Japanese costume except for the White Ranger. So I can talk about this shit all day, but the point is that they did do merch leaks. In fact, I remember before I even saw a trailer for Turbo Power Rangers movie, there was a promo that aired on TV like, oh, the Turbo Rangers are coming to your town. And I was like, what the fuck is the Turbo Ranger? I was like, I think I was 11, 12, and I didn't even know what. Oh, but you want to watch Dragon Ball Saiyan? Dragon Ball's just as cheesy.
Yeah, it is.
But no, what I'm trying to say is, you know what I'm saying? Like even they leaked out stuff early too. This has kind of been, you know what? This has been a thing for a long time, dude.
But yeah, but at the same time, like, yes, it has been, but now we're kind of living in this era of social media and personality, anonymity of social media and the internet.
Pussies,
I mean,
bro, is what you're trying to say.
that is like, yeah, okay, everyone who does that, and I agree with you. It's like people who do that, they're pussies because they really don't understand, or maybe they do understand that, like, you can't do anything about it, or you're not going to. I mean, at some point someone's going to do that, but the same people who would do that aren't the type of people, unless they're just absolutely crazy, who, I guess in certain contexts you're right, like, if you're gonna walk out of the theater having watched Endgame and yell it, you know, Tony Stark dies. It's like, oh my god, right? So, like,
spoiler, dog, relax.
oh my god, are we fucking kidding me? The movie is made nearly as much as Avatar in the worldwide box office. Bullshit. All right. No, seriously, but like, if that's the thing, like, this, like, anyone's gonna get their ass kicked on that. I'm sure if you go back, you could find stories about people getting their ass handed to them for The Empire Strikes Back, because that must have been a huge spoiler at
Probably
the
the
time.
biggest spoiler in movie history, I would say.
Yeah, no, of course, and I'm sure somebody got their ass handed to them during the opening weekend or
I'm
something.
imagining that somebody walking out.
No, yeah, like, and that's like that classic Simpsons episode where they have the flashback and, like, they're walking out of the theater and Homer spoils it for everyone who's in line, and it's like, I'm sure that happened. I'm sure, like, that's just the way. Even if it's an inadvertent spoiler, you still spoil it for people, and they might have a very violent reaction. The one thing, though, that we were talking about before you came in, though, when it comes to that is, Geekdom, what are your thoughts here? Because the concept of going out of a theater and yelling that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father when everyone
That's
is
still being dicks, bro.
No, I understand that, but the point is like, yes, that person is being a dick, and I'm not saying that there's not someone out there who's going to literally hand him his ass and send him to the hospital. But my question here to you and everyone listening is, are you that person? Because as much as I love Dragon Ball and everything else,
I would never inflict harm on somebody, bro. Or are you asking me if I would spoil it for somebody?
No. Like, be the other person, because like it's weird to me when I hear these stories, and I understand that there's a lot of different people out there with a lot of different experiences and mindsets and mental problems, but someone spoils a movie for me that I really want to see. You know, like the new Saw movie coming out in 2020. Like I'm gonna do my best the same way I did with Jigsaw to avoid spoilers.
Someone gets tortured,
and someone, well, probably, but I'm gonna do my best to avoid spoilers. But it might come and somebody might spoil it for me. I'm not gonna go out of my way, even if they're right in front of me, to beat their ass, because that's not just maybe that's not who I am, and also I don't think I love any property, any fictional property that much to beat.
I gotta get fictional in there, bro.
I love human beings that much. Like I
was gonna make a joke about property, but no, stop.
Oh.
So WWE released a mobile game, and I guess they spelled Kurt Angle's name with a C. That's stupid. Sorry, keep going.
Kurt Angle.
Okay, but like what I'm saying is, like, so I already asked MJ. He said he wouldn't be that person. Like, I don't feel like, is there anything that you love that much to be like, I'm going to fucking kick your ass?
No,
you better leave.
I mean, there is things I love that I would fight for, but not movies. You're right. I would not like inflict physical harm on somebody. But if somebody's getting beat up over it, you know what? I ain't gonna stop them. I'm just being real. If I see a dude getting beat up in the movie theater and I say, "What's going on?" He spoiled the movie. All right. He did it purposely. If I see a dude screaming out, Kylo Ren kills Han Solo in 2015 and he gets pounded on, all right.
Kylo Ren and Ray, I'm gonna do what my boy
did when he saw some guy getting raped in prison. Too bad for you. That's a true story, by the way, bro. What they would do to you in prison is, when you're in prison, right, what they do to butt fuck you is they wait for you to fall asleep on that mattress, and they roll the mattress over so you're like a burrito trapped in the mattress. They poke your butt out the back, bro.
Yeah.
They poke your butt out the back, and they start fucking it. And then the dude comes in, and he's like, "Help me!" Like Krillin did on DBZ. And fucking, and my boy goes, "Too bad for you," and kept going, bro.
Oh God, that's just a bad image.
That's a true story, bro.
I know, that's funny. I've heard that story before.
This is the same guy who thought it was a good idea who took. This is all true stories. It's fucked up. So he was gonna shank this dude because he owed him money for fucking a tattoo. So he fucking I think I told Andrew this story. He took a knife and he stuck it in shit. So he took a dump in this, like, he put it. He took this shit in this Tupperware, a turd. Then he sticks the knife in the turd and buries it underground for a couple days. And I go, "Why are you stabbing the turd with a knife?" And then he goes, "'Cause, dog, when I stab his ass, he'll get sick." I'm like, what kind of shit is this? His logic was, if I stab you with a knife that has bacteria on it, you'll get sick.
Oh my God.
And then he told me this story about this one guy owed him money, so he took him to he goes, "Oh, don't worry, bro, I'll even buy you a tattoo." But then what he did was he took the blood from the fucking people in the AIDS ward and dipped the tattoo needle in it, bro, to give the guy AIDS, bro. This is what they do in prison, bro, to get revenge. They give you AIDS.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's the stories I was told. I mean, I wasn't there. And the funny thing is, when you hang out with these guys, they're really fucking funny, bro. They're really funny. Anyways,
I think you have to have a sense of humor to stab a piece of shit with a knife.
And his logic, so it's as if getting stabbed wasn't bad enough, right? Getting stabbed hurts. You can die from it. No, I'm gonna stab you and infect your liver with my feces. What kind of shit is that, bro?
Yeah.
That was their logic, bro. Chemical warfare at its best.
Chemical warfare.
A shiv chemical warfare. Oh my God. That's fucked up, dude. That's fucked up. Oh. But no, I agree with you. I kind of agree with you. If you do that purposefully and you're doing it on You think you can get away with anything?
You think they should be stabbed with a shit knife?
No, like if they're getting beat up in the theater, like okay, yeah, okay, like I wouldn't say this otherwise. Like obviously, that person thinks that they can do whatever they want. I mean, you know this like growing trend on YouTube and social media where people film themselves acting like dipshits.
Oh, that's been going on for years.
I know, but like I feel like
Remember, you can blame Jackass and Tom Green for that, by the way.
I hated those
I remember the prank
I love
era.
those shows, bro.
Remember the prank era of YouTube? They go, some guy goes to the hood, fucks with some people. It's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank, bro. They think they say and they're not gonna. Oh, it's gonna save them, bro.
Well, my favorite one was when they dressed up like clowns and stuff and went to the ghetto and they got guys pulling guns on them and they had to like run away and like take off all their clothes. But like, it's a prank.
Remember that
it's a
time
prank.
when you just like a clown and would surprise those kids at school?
I didn't see that one.
That was you. You did that.
I did that one. Yeah, I don't think I did
what I
that
was
one.
doing.
I can't remember. Oh man,
Fuck YouTube. I want to dress up like a clown and surprise kids at school.
that.
Then I want to go to the movie theater and take a dump in the back of the theater and then wait for someone to sit in it. You know, and I want to hear the squish.
Oh god, and you know what? Somebody would too. Somebody would.
I know
Especially
they
in this
would.
era, and especially in this day and age of reserved seats. What are they gonna do?
Hell yeah. Man, when I went to go see what's his movie called? John Wick. Fucking I
You're
was
talking
worried.
like that's like a big movie though. What is it called?
Well, it's-
John Wick. Yeah.
It's big for some people, but I remember the person I went with had seats that were 2 seats to the side of me, and there was somebody who had an assigned seat in the middle, and I thought I was gonna have to scrap with this fucking guy so I can get that seat next to him. But luckily he didn't show up, so you know, we were good on that.
Mhm.
Damn, fuck assigned seats, bro.
I don't like them either. I mean, I've always been. I mean, I guess the one thing I like about them now is because I have my assigned seats. I don't feel like I have to get to the movie theater super early, but I was always that type of person who got to the movie theater way early, so I would get the best seats. But now sometimes because of it, when I went to go see Endgame, I went to go see Endgame Friday morning at 8 a.m. and there was barely any seats in the theater.
Sweet.
And I was talking to the guys I was standing next to in line, and he was like, "Yeah, like this is the only theater with seats open right now." I was like, "What the fuck are people doing?" Like, I understand. Like, I'm a student. I don't have Friday classes for this semester, so it doesn't bother me that much. But like, how the fuck are everyone else? Like, is everyone else here? Don't people work? But I guess not.
Hey, so I forgot to mention the punchline about my prison friend. So his nickname in prison was Pressure, right? So I asked him, I go, why did they call you that? He goes, "Cuz dog, you see them fools over there? They don't want this pressure." I was like, okay. So the thing about him, he once called me on a cell phone from inside a prison, right? He had a cell phone. I don't know if this is Mace or what, bro, but he called me up from prison with a cell phone, right? And I go, "How'd you get a cell phone in prison?" He goes, "Cuz, bro, I'm about that life." It turns out that this dude had so much fucking authority in prison because he was friends with cops and shit that they gave him a cellular phone to make calls, bro. Think about how much power. You had to be a real baller to fucking get a cell phone in prison, bro. And he had it for a little while. I think he might have got locked up again, bro. I'm gonna look him up here as you're talking and see if he got locked up again, bro. Because I haven't seen that dude in like 10 years. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm. Sayana
I
says,
didn't mean to interrupt you, bro. It's just that the prison stories are funny to me, bro.
I've never met anyone who's like legitimately gone to prison, so I do have. I'm having fun with the stories.
Aren't you a lawyer?
Really, bro? Half my family's
Look
been
to
in
me.
prison, bro.
Just because of like not all law is criminal law.
That's true.
Sayana says, "I wonder that all the time. Like, I work in a craft store and I'll get slammed with people with kids at like 11 a.m. Why aren't they at school?"
You ain't gotta go to school anymore.
God,
Everybody's homeschooled now.
you know what? That's something that's growing because like when I went to college, I ran into a lot of people who were homeschooled, I just never really dealt with that. Like I went through public school my entire life, and it, dude, homeschool is a huge thing now. I don't understand it. I guess people need something to do, or just they want to have a quality education, but private school is way too expensive.
I don't have access to the fucking Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. They locked access, bro. Now you have to be. Look at this. You have to be law enforcement or associated with the bond industry, media, or any recognized state bar association. So when you get the bar, bro, let me get access again. Look me up, bro. Oh, I can't even see if you got arrested again, man.
Well, dude, if I would be honest with yourself, wouldn't you kind of want to stay there if you have that much authority there?
In prison?
I mean, it sounds like that guy had
I'm
a fun
sorry,
time.
but oh yeah, taking care of your booty and sticking knives and shit. I don't think that's fun, bro. I'd rather be here in my house.
That sounds like the dude from Breaking Bad. Remember Jimmy In and Out who goes to prison just for the hell of it.
Oh, but
look at what Mason said. My cousin had a flip phone in prison for doing a female guard doggy style. That's what he said, at least. Mason is fucking stupid.
Oh my god.
Bro, Mace, I bet you could start your own religion and people will believe you. Sayana, I can't Google him. His name is way too common. If I Google his name, it'll show up with like 50 fucking Mexicans, bro. Just say Google my real name, but you're gonna get like 57.
One of them's probably my cousin, bro.
Say a J LMAO, brah. Oh my god, we've got there's no more topic here. We're just gonna shoot the shit.
Well, no. I was just saying, like, with the spoiler thing. No, it's not worth fighting somebody over, bro. But I mean, it just sucks because motherfuckers do whatever they want and get away with it on the internet, and it's irritating.
But I think that's what's really, really making all of this stuff more relevant now, is because they do that. They have this sense of purpose or sense of invulnerability. And so they get up there and they do that. They get their fucking ass handed to them. And it's like, you just don't understand or know who you're dealing with in a social situation. You have to kind of walk on eggshells. Same can't be said online. I mean, online you do whatever the fuck you want, and people have to kind of people either have to conform or leave you alone, or they have to do what you and NBA did to a certain someone and just completely.
Yeah, but you can't do that to everybody spoiling something. That certain someone asked for because they wouldn't stop.
No, I understand. I'm not saying I'm not opening the doors to say everyone deserves that. But my point is if they won't stop after everything, then you have to go after them.
I mean, you and I talked about that, bro. Remember, we tried everything, and justice was served, bro. But I didn't have to. Contact your attorney friend or anything, bro. Justice was served.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
It feels good. I'm not gonna lie.
It's relevant to me too, because I've just spent all day going over defamation stuff to study for the bar. And
I was told to have a case, just that getting money out of it would have been a little bit tougher.
It would have been, it would have been impossible. The guy had no money to give.
I know he's broke.
But actually, when I was going over the rules, I was like, man, you actually did have a case. A lot of this,
I did,
could be proven.
Dude, my lawyer found 12 counts of defamation of character and harassment. He was screwed. There is no way he could have gone to court with me and survived. Dude, it would have been over in one day. It wouldn't have even been we're gonna go to recess and come back later. It would have been open and shut, bro. It would have, it would have been. Dude, I had the timestamps and everything, bro. It's done. You're done, dog. I know I had a case.
Yeah, but
he doesn't know how lucky he is that he just lost his channel, bro. That's all he lost. Kyrie's in here. Get ready for a debate. No, not really.
I
don't worry. He has not said that Piccolo is Gohan's father. I'm not gonna let him say that.
That's the best part, though. But yeah, he's lucky. I just remember because what was that, a couple weeks ago, where you were just did someone say debate? This guy, when I woke up one day and you posted up, or you woke up or something, and we posted up the T2 Judgment Day. I don't know if you I don't think you made that. Someone made that, but that was hilarious. When his second channel got deleted.
No, I didn't make that. I forgot who made it, bro. So I think like I forgot who made that. I don't even know who made it. I forgot. MJ, who sent that to me, bro?
Either Cat or JB, one of those.
And that was right when Terminator Dark Fate happened too. Terminator 2. Remember the trailer for that movie? Terminator 2, Judgment Day. He's back. And this time for good. Get it? Get the pun? Speaking of spoiling the movie, dude, that's a great example. Thank God we brought that up. Terminator 2 Judgment Day spoils that movie. When you first watch Terminator 2, in the opening monologue from Linda Hamilton from Sarah Connor, she says, Skynet sent 2 Terminators back, but they'll send a protector as well. So you're supposed to think when you watch the film that there's 2 Terminators and 1 human. And you don't find out that Arnold Terminator, the Cybernetics Systems Model 101, the T-800, is actually a good guy until about 25% through the movie, till the end of the first act.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a spoiler, right? I mean, that, because you're going into the movie, if you see that spoiler and you see Arnold and he's like, oh, he's on our side now, he's good or whatever, come with me if you want to live and all that shit. You're not supposed to know that when you first see the movie, but the trailer ruined it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and but that's something right that's something that's been happening this entire time. A less so, but I feel like it was really devastating for me because I was really looking forward to this movie for a really long time back in the day. When Lionsgate spoiled a lot of, especially the biggest moments of the Expendables when it first came out, especially that cameo selling the movies like this is the first movie with Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Sylvester Stallone, and it's just that one fucking scene, and they put the entire scine in the trailer.
When he goes, got a problem with that? Yeah. That got me hyped to go see it. Though, see, I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this one. I got me hyped.
I understand, like, but the whole concept of that movie got me hyped. Like, I was super
excited.
But
seeing Chuck Norris in part 2, bro. See, that was awesome, bro.
That was good. I was always.
They need to make another one, bro, with Jackie Chan.
They are making another one.
And Hulk Hogan. Yeah, but we've heard that for years. When are they actually going to make it?
After he's done making Rambo 5. And now he's even talking about doing a second Rocky spinoff. And
what?
Yeah.
What is this going to be about, bro?
He's
Paulie's son?
His illegitimate son that he fathered during the events of Rocky 3.
No. You know what they should do, bro? They should make the movie they should call it Rocky 9, Creed 3, and have it be Rocky versus Creed. You know what? I brought you in. I'm gonna take you out.
I brought you in. I can take you.
It's another ESPN like virtual fight, and he gets like, no, maybe I can do it. I don't know.
I mean, you know, they teach him a lot of things. You know, and they. Oh my God, bro.
So he has been talking about it. Who knows? Like, Sylvester Stallone always likes to talk a lot of shit. Like, he's not as bad as Kevin Smith or Tarantino, but he always.
Kevin Smith cries every 2 days, so I mean.
Speaking of spoilers, don't follow that dude on fucking Instagram, dog. That dude's posted most of the fucking reboot already, the Jay and Silent Bob, on his Instagram. So.
Really?
Yeah, if you care about spoilers, don't go on there.
Well, I don't care about it one way or the other.
No, I'm just making a joke.
Why would he only spoil his own movie?
He keeps posting pictures of like people who are like in character with him on set, and then someone's like, "Hey, just because you." So I remember this one comment. It was highlighted. The guy goes, "Hey, man, listen here. Just because you lost a lot of weight doesn't seem you can do this, man. You can't do this." I'm like, what does it have to do with anything?
That poor guy, like, suffered a massive heart attack.
I know. I'm just thinking, what does it have to do with anything? With him losing weight, thinking he's okay to spoil his movie? What?
His own movie.
It's his movie. You know what? At least it's him spoiling it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, is it really a spoiler? Like, is he just like putting up? Because all I've heard about that movie is it's basically like this. It's just basically like the first one, which I love. I mean,
I heard it's like Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, except like, you know, more.
They're doing like a reboot, right? I think it is because the movie's called Reboot.
He's calling it a reboot. It's not really a reboot.
I heard it's Jay and Silent Bob, but it's it's the same story. Like, they hear that they're going to do a reboot, or they
reboot of Blood Man and Chronic.
Yeah. Which is great. Like, that's awesome. There's so much potential there because the first one's
I don't know,
hilarious.
bro. I don't think Kevin Smith has it anymore, dog. I mean, I don't want to be a dick. I respect him. I do enjoy watching him talk and things like that. His commentaries are like some of the best ever. Like if you watch any of his director's commentaries with him and Affleck, like they're great. I think they're fantastic. But I don't think he has it anymore, dog. Like I don't think he has it anymore, dude. I think after Clerks 2, and even that movie didn't age that well. I don't know if he has anything left in the tank, bro. Just being real with you. I mean, look at Cop Out, ass.
Tusk.
That Kid Mary had a couple. Jersey Girl, ass. Red State, ass. Tusk, it was okay. Yoga Hooters, one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah, fuck that movie.
I never saw Holiday. It was like a Bray Wyatt segment.
I don't like the one thing I'm really hopeful for is that Jay and Silent Bob are funny, and I felt like even when he did the original movie for them, they kind of live in their own world, so maybe it's going to be different enough, because obviously none of the movies he's made have felt like classic Kevin Smith for a very long time. I mean, you have what? I would only say that Clerks, Dogma, and Mallrats are the ones that I really like the most.
You didn't even say Chasing Amy is his best movie.
I wouldn't say Chasing Amy is his best movie.
What's better than Chasing Amy? The only one that comes close is Dogma.
I would say Dogma, just because Dogma is so like it's just so out there in terms
it's
of
great.
Like,
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with it. I'm just saying that you didn't put Chasing Amy on there, and that's like his best written movie. I would say you don't like Chasing Amy.
I like it well enough, but I feel like it's kind of pretentious. Like it's trying to be. I think it's trying to be a Tarantino thing. Like it's a real talky film. For him, I mean, besides Clerks, Clerks is obviously a much. Clerks 2 not so much, but Clerks is a talky film too, but not in the same vein, because all Chasing Amy is like about sex and relationships and all this other stuff, and it's not just like shooting the shit. I mean, Clerks is like, they get into this long discussion about.
I love Clerks. I love that stuff.
I know, like Clerks is great. It's like getting into this long discussion about contractors on the Death Star and something that's classic Kevin Smith. Like that's what I like about.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. No, I mean, but Chasing Amy has great conversations too, but mostly about like sexuality and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Like when they're on the swing. I love the part. Like my favorite part is when they're on the swing and he's trying to explain to her when like what it is to like lose your virginity, and she's like, well, then I lost it this time, then I lost it at this point. Like that's such a great scene. But okay, yeah, I guess you're right. I should put it higher, but I still think his best movie is Dogma, just because I think it's his most ambitious film, even though he's made bigger films since then.
Well, what about the fact that Ben Affleck was like one of his guys? Like he had Affleck for what, 4 movies in a row, I think. 5 movies in a row he had Affleck.
I know
and now Affleck's like too busy for him or some shit, bro. Like he's too busy with Ben Affleck.
I know that they're friends still. I think
they're cool, yeah, but he wouldn't even be in his movie anymore.
I think. Well, you know what really pissed them off, right? Oh, what really?
Well, I heard the story that what's his name walked out on him, but that's a different story.
No. So, I had heard that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon pissed Kevin Smith off, like no other when they won for Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, but didn't they make fun of that in fucking
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did eventually, but like that was like I think that was one of the first things, like because he was one of the reasons they even got that movie made, and they didn't even mention him in the acceptance speech.
Oh, I see. I get it, bro, but that was so long ago. I don't think he cares anymore.
I mean, who would? Like, I wouldn't. I mean,
but Flex also got a bunch of personal problems too. So I mean.
What you know what I listened to I as long as I have you here and we're just talking about this, we were already talking about Terminator, so I listened to your video reaction for Dark Fate, and
I'm not too excited, dog.
You didn't seem like it, but you were. I wanted to ask you more thoughts on it because it's like only like 5 minutes, and I know you were just getting off of that really long NBA live stream right before you did that, so why aren't you excited about it?
Because I'm tired of them making new Terminator movies that are the same thing over and over again. There's nothing new, and they're erasing the previous films, meanwhile copying everything from the previous. I said in the damn video that you said you watched.
I know you said that, but like, okay, but I felt like maybe you have something more. There's like only a 5-minute video, and you said Yeah, I know. Like they're making the Terminator human again.
They're
I think
doing
it's
the
Terminator like
fucking nostalgia bullshit, that fucking Star Wars and Halloween. Oh look, it's Linda Hamilton. Oh look, it's Arnold. Like that's like every movie now that comes out is always, and Red Letter Media trashes it real bad. Star Wars. Look, it's TIE fighters. I know what those are. I'm just saying, like I feel that again.
to me in terms of the Terminator franchise. I don't know about you. Salvation's a bad movie, and it's weird to me because everything I've seen, everything I saw going into it, and every time I think of it like just in passing, I'm like, I like Terminator Salvation. I should watch it again. And I really wish that they had made a sequel. And then I go back and watch it and it's like, no, I can't. I can't make it through this film.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I love Salvation. I really did. Genesis is the one that really didn't age well. But I'm just tired of Terminator. Like, I love that. It's weird. I love that franchise so much, and I just want it to be done, bro. Just do the fucking Future War movie and end it just like that. I'm tired of it, bro. I'm tired of Terminator. I'm gonna go see it. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I'm not excited anymore.
Well, I would say, like, you're right. Just this whole nostalgia boost. And it's weird to me because Terminator's in a really weird spot, too. Because they're banking...
By the way, just for the record, Kevin Smith named his daughter Harley Quinn Smith, and that's another reason why I lost respect for him, bro. That's like if I named my son Goku. Like, I'm not worthy of respect anymore, bro. If I do that.
Well, you should name your son Goku then. No. That'd be
name
terrible.
your son fucking Jigsaw.
Billy. I was like Billy.
Billy, there you go. Billy, bro. I'm not gonna say your last name, bro, but your son's first name, like his full first name, should be like, I don't know. It should be like Tobin Bell. Tobin Bell, whatever your last name is, I'm not gonna reveal here.
You know what? By the
your last name rhymes with mutant, bro. That's all I'm gonna say about that, bro. Because remember how I would always hit this guy up and I would say, Mark, and I would say his last name because it reminded me of how Graydon Creed would say mutants. I hate mutants on X-Men, so I always said it in that context. But anyways, yeah.
By the way, Mark, I forgot to tell you this. I don't think I ever got a chance to tell you. I remember you tweeted out one day, and fuck you for this tweet. I remember you tweeted out one day.
You tweeted out Happy New Year in June, right? Is that what you're saying?
You were wanting to compare or do a versus battle between Halloween 2018 versus Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now listen,
what the fuck?
I don't care what you have.
You're wrong.
I don't care what you have against Halloween 2018 because I understand the film's whatever. But bro, don't compare it to 2009, bro, when fucking Michael's following Pegasus throughout the whole fucking movie, bro.
No,
Come on,
dude.
now.
They showed his face about 15,000 times. Fuck
No. Like, I refuse to believe that Halloween 2018 is better than Rob Zombie's version. It follows the exact...
Are you out of your mind, dude?
No. Let me explain. Like, okay, Rob Zombie's version and 2018 have a lot of fucking similarities, okay? Like, it deals with PTSD with Laurie, but the 2009 version makes a ton of sense because it only happened 2 years ago. It's with a very emotionally vulnerable, just lost her family type of person who's living on basically the couch of her best friend. That's interesting. That, like, when she breaks down in that movie, go back and watch it. It makes a lot of sense and it's well acted. Then you also have Loomis still in the film. Of course, not as good as the original Loomis whatsoever, but it's an interesting concept.
But it's not Indian Loomis, bro.
Okay, yeah.
Remember, he was an Indian man in life. Yeah. So, MJ, I asked you.
No.
I asked you if you would tap that, bro, and you said, what was your answer? Oof, dog. MJ.
What?
MJ?
Oh,
All
look
right.
at the chat.
MJ.
I know.
All right, look at. That's a big NO from me, dog. I don't know about you, but yeah, I would call her a butterface, but she doesn't even have a face either. So she's a butter nothing, dog.
She's just a.
She's a block or more. She only looks good from a block or more.
Jeez.
You know who that is, by the way?
Yeah, I know what that is. Man.
Oh, okay. Wondering.
But so
Ugh.
I just think, okay, another thing I really like about Rob Zombie's version as opposed to any of the other versions is Playboy Loomis. Like, I love the fact that he's living off of the fame that Michael brought him from the first movie, and I think that was a really good idea. I don't know. I think Rob Zombie looked at what he made, and his first movie is so much of a recreation of the original film that
Hell yeah, second one's totally different.
yeah, and he tried. Like, I think he's the only one that tried to do something completely different that wasn't really built off of anything else. And I don't know. I have a weird concept.
Yeah, but to me though, just because it's different don't make it good. Like I said, bro, Sherry Moon Zombie, bro, riding Pegasus throughout the fucking movie. Fuck that movie, dog. Fuck that movie, man.
I agree.
don't know.
Different isn't always good. I agree with that.
I
I mean,
don't
look at
know.
Last Jedi.
Dude,
Subvert expectations, bro.
Right?
Look.
I'm gonna re-invite Ryan Johnson to my channel soon, bro.
Rehand
Hey
Joe.
Ryan,
do it.
you got your trilogy canceled by those fucking SJW Game of Thrones guys. Well, you know, my trilogy's still coming. Trust me on this one. Kathy invited me over for tea, and oh my god, we had a tea party, and we talked about Star Wars. I'm gonna invite him back over, bro. 'Cause
Dude,
he was a
please,
hit the
dude.
first time I had him on the
please,
channel.
dude. I've told you this before, but like, so I was working this summer when you did that video. I'm pretty sure it was this summer, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, I was in my car.
Last year.
I was in Austin, that's all I remember. So it's like I was in my car and I was getting food, and I was just dying laughing listening to that whole thing. Cause like I saw that you're like exclusive interview, and I was like, holy shit! Like I thought you were. At first, like I was like, I thought you were 100%, and then I was like, I listened to it and I was like, I'm going to die. I
What
was
are you talking
laughing
about?
so
It
hard.
wasn't 100%.
Yeah, that was Rehand Johansson.
That was Rian Johnson, bro. That was Leanne Ryan.
Ryan Johnson.
I
Spell
mean,
your-
you know, the people who hate my movie, they must just hate women. Oh my God, they're probably Trump supporters. How could they? I worked so hard on my movie.
the only thing, like I will always say this, like,
Hey,
the
but
only-
his next movie, Knives Out, might be pretty good, bro. Some alphas in that movie, bro. Chris Evans in that movie, bro.
do you really think his trilogy's been axed? I mean, it's
Yeah.
weird that they haven't talked
I do.
about it.
I do. I think it's axed, and they're just playing kind of dumb and saying he doesn't want to talk about it publicly. But I think it's axed. Yeah. I think Bob Iger, the alpha, stepped in and said, "No, we're not gonna have this again.
Man, I mean,
Unless you're gonna make a movie where it's Darth Vader and Boba Fett killing Ewoks for 2 hours, you ain't." You know what? That's a pretty good joke, bro. I'm pretty clever, and I'm not even high right now. Not that I get high. I mean, I'm family friendly PG man, but still.
A BG man.
No, I'm not BG, bro. I don't take other people's women, bro, like BG does.
Ooh.
Don't ever tell BG you like a girl, bro. He'll come and take them from you.
Dude,
That's true.
Mike's in the chat right now. I don't know if
I
he's
know.
still there, but he says he'd love to see another interview. Is that what brought that up?
No, I said it before he even joined.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know he was in there. I was talking to him earlier about the AEW thing. I have to record with him soon. I have to record a Terminator thing with him.
Nice.
See if we agree or not.
I just personally think, going back to that just real quick, the fact that they never did a sequel to Salvation, I think, is like the worst the worst thing that ever happened to Terminator, because that was
Salvation 4.
4.
Oh, I agree, because remember the original plan was they were going to do 4, 5, and 6, and they were all going to be in the future.
Yeah.
Like 6 was going to end with them going. Remember how Rock is supposed to be in 5? That was the Rock was going to be a Terminator in 5. They were supposed to end 6 with them going back in time and starting up the first movie again, and it never happened. Yeah, fuck this franchise.
Yeah, and then they scrapped it for Genesis, and Genesis is first of all, everything I heard about Genesis, it's weird because of like
You didn't see it?
I know I've seen it, but
Oh.
this isn't like something that was like this. Okay, so Fantastic Four, the reboot was filming or at the same
Are you
time.
talking about the Josh Trank one where he had a meltdown?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah, but that was filming at the exact same time as Genesis, and apparently the people on Fantastic Four were like, "Man, this is fucking crazy. Like, this movie is going to suck." But at least we're not working on Terminator Genesis.
I mean, the thing about Genesis is just I liked it the first time I saw it, but man, does it have problems when you watch it a second time. I like seeing and Michael will agree with this. I like seeing what's her name zip up her fucking thing. What's her name again? The girl that Mike likes. Emilia Clarke, bro, the Game of Thrones chick. I like seeing her get undressed and dressed in that movie. That was nice. But I don't like the fact that what's his name's in that movie, bro.
Jai Courtney.
Yeah, he's a jabroni. Him and the other jabroni, bro. The guy with all those bad horror movies. The other Clark, Jason Clark, jabronis, dog. All you needed was Arnold and Amelia, bro. Because she looks a lot like Linda Hamilton, bro. She looks a lot like Linda Hamilton. I was stunned as how much like Linda Hamilton.
Really? Because maybe I need to look at them back right next to each other because I can't see it.
I mean, you're talking about young Linda Hamilton, not her now, bro. Looking all decrepit.
Of course.
I still tap it though.
She looks great.
I still tap Linda Hamilton, bro. I want to tap her in Terminator 1. Not Terminator 2. She's too much of a butch in that movie, but Terminator 1, Terminator 2, she'll break my neck if I try to tap, bro. Terminator 1, she'll take it. You know what I mean?
That would have been that. I think that would have really helped the movie. So you have Jai Courtney.
Me tapping her in the movie? It would have helped me. I'll tell you that much.
But like, you have her. You have the whole setup. We're gonna send back Jai Courtney and everything. They send him back, and then he just gets killed like right in the beginning, and then it's just her and Pops the entire movie, and it's like that would have been cool because like the best. He was
such a, bro. You compare him to fucking Michael Biehn, bro, the Alpha. Come on, dog. That's like when they cast fucking Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan. Listen, I like Benedict Cumberbatch, all right, but he ain't Khan, bro. He's not Ricardo Montalban levels of Alpha, bro. Remember, that was his real chest in that movie. That wasn't even that was his real chest, bro.
That was actually the weirdest thing about that movie, I think.
What, Ricardo Montalban or
no, like the fact that they cast Benedict Cumberbatch.
That movie sucks, bro.
That movie sucks.
I hate that movie. Huh?
That movie sucks so hard.
It's bad, bro. It sucks, bro.
But
God, I hate that movie.
It's sad though because
you know who likes that movie, bro? Tex, bro. Cut a promo on him. Tex likes that fucking movie, dog. Man, I mean, I thought it was okay. You know, I didn't hate it. Wasn't as good as the first one. I said, no, bro, that movie sucks. I don't know. I liked it, bro. That movie fucking sucks, bro.
Speaking of Star Trek and Terminator, though, Anton Yelchin. I know he's dead.
He died, right? That's the guy who died.
I know he's dead, but he was a perfect Michael Biehn stand-in, right? Like he played the younger version of what's his name?
Well, him and Kyle Reese have something in common right now, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, he was okay. I was sad that he passed away.
I was too, but I'm just saying, like I felt like he was a perfect casting choice. Like he was the best casting choice in all of Salvation. But it's weird that Terminator from 5 and 6 probably cast the two most forgettable beta white men actors in the business today. Sam Worthington to Jai Courtney. Two big roles.
You said 5 and 6. That's like that's
four and 5.
I was gonna say, you're gonna bury the Mexicans in 6, bro.
I said white
because. Well, I mean, there is a beta in that movie, bro. Fucking what's his name? What's this guy's name? Gabriel Luna, bro.
Mm.
I would count him as a beta.
I don't know enough about him.
He's beta, bro. He has a brother who's a lot more alpha than him, bro. And I like how they have Jude Colley as John Connor in the movie, but they don't have Eddie Furlong, who would have already been old enough to play this part by now.
But didn't he like went through so many?
All those kid actors did, bro. They're all drugged out. Macaulay Culkin's doing regular media videos now. They're all fucked up.
Yeah, he is. I thought he did that like a couple years ago. Is he still doing them?
He did. The recent review for Warriors has Macaulay Culkin there with Michael Chiklis or whatever.
Nice.
Stuckless, whatever his name is, bro.
The
Yeah, no, but Eddie Furlong still makes movies, bro. Nobody watches them. Look at this. Look at this list. Look at this list of movies right here, bro. Look at this. Assault on Wall Street. Okay. Also known as Bailout: The Age of Greed. It sounds like a fucking shitty video game. Awakened. Stitch. Is it Stitch from Lilo and Stitch? The Last Light. Aftermath with Dr. Dre. A Perfect Vacation. A Winter Rose. The Reunion, bro. These are like, this is not even straight to DVD. This is like bottom of the barrel Netflix shit, bro.
mm-hmm.
This is like the worst of Netflix right here, dude. This is like, I've seen everything on Netflix. What's left type shit, you know?
What? But okay, I know they say that John Connor's going to be a part of this movie, but they didn't focus on him at all. I mean, I don't know.
He's not even the hero anymore, bro. It's Sarah now.
That's dumb.
Remember, we're in the SJW world. It's gonna be a woman now, dog.
That's kind of dumb because like
she's
you can't ignore like the entire point of that franchise is that he's gonna be the savior. But the future can also change apparently because if they're gonna rewrite everything after 2, and the future's still coming.
So you're saying the future's not gonna be saved by the Mexicans now? Diego Boneta or whatever's the new savior?
Maybe. I mean, it goes into like what we were talking about. It's like everything and every story can change. Like Rise of the Skywalker. There's no Skywalkers left. Who's gonna rise?
Dog, right? Well, I mean, there's theories on that. Remember, he fell in love with Claire Danes, dog. I'm sorry, but she's not my first pick, bro, for a wife. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But it was cool that she reprogrammed the Terminator and sent him back in time to be a good guy and upgraded him in a plot line we'll never find out about because they're erasing these movies.
No,
dude. After Terminator 3, I was so intrigued at the storyline of there being of the future Terminator killing John and having Kate reprogram him. I was so interested in that angle, and it all got dropped.
Mm-hmm. And
that's why I hate the franchise, bro. I'm tired. I'm sorry, Mark. I hate this franchise because you get invested and they just erase everything. Like every time you get invested in a new storyline, they just erase the last one. So what's the point?
But that's the biggest problem with franchise. Like there are so many franchises.
Doing Star Wars, bro. Did you hear about who Rey's dad is?
No. Is it a spoiler?
It's not really. It's a rumor right now. Do you count a rumor as being legit?
I don't care. I mean, yes.
Let's ask the chat room,
guys. Do you care if a rumor is a spoiler?
Do you care if we discuss a possible spoiler of Star Wars Episode 9: Rise of Skywalker?
No response equals a yes.
Rise of JJ's bank account, bro. We have one vote for no.
Oh.
And again, this is just a rumor. This is not like confirmed spoiler, but it's from Making Star Wars, and they're way more credible than any of these other jabronis on here.
I don't care. You can do what you.
All right. So the rumor is that Rey's daddy is Han Solo, and the story is that they explain how he got old in Terminator Genesis, which is kind of dumb because they're going to copy everything from those movies. So the story is Rey's dad is Han Solo, but Rey's mom is not Leia. Basically, I don't know if I like this, bro, but the story that we find out is so Han Solo cheated on Leia with another woman, had an affair, and gave birth to Rey. And what wound up happening is when this whole thing went down, it interrupted Leia's training. She went through a depression, and this is what led to Kylo Ren hating Han Solo. This is why he says, he would have been a disappointment to Rey about the father figure thing, because apparently, like, that's what turned Kylo Ren to the dark side. That's what got Snow to seduce him, was this idea that his parents didn't care about him. Because after this happened, the story, exactly, Han's a deadbeat dad. The story is that the reason why they sent him to go train with Luke is because Leia was too depressed trying to fix the marriage, and they didn't want him around. And that's what ended up with everything. So that's the rumor. I don't know how I feel about that. They're making Han a deadbeat dad.
I mean, Han was already kind of a deadbeat dad to Force Awakens, if we're being honest. Like, he was just back to his old self. Like, absolutely no character development.
He didn't have to, but I disagree with you, because he had development in A New Hope, because he eventually realized that being a scoundrel and being selfish is the wrong thing to do, and he helped the rebellion at the end of Jedi. So I think he did change, but now they're going back to him not changing, and that's I
Well,
don't like that.
like they hadn't really seen each other for a long time at the beginning of uh, the Force Awakens, right? Like
It's
him and Chewie
implied,
were
yeah.
back there doing their own thing, getting in trouble.
It's very much implied.
Is that if they do that? Did Chewie know, and is that why she went with? Is that why he hung out when she was with Luke? I mean,
Wait, what?
Chewie was on that like little island with all of them eating the birds.
What does that have to do with this?
Like, is that why he's hanging around with? I mean, obviously, Rey has the Millennium Falcon, but is that why Chewie's hanging out with her because he knows? I mean, Chewie theoretically.
You
should
might
know
be
most
right,
things.
dog. You might be right, man. That might be why. Or because he needs a friend, and those porgs aren't gonna cut it, bro. Why would you put the porg back down if you already cooked it? You already killed the porg. He's on the stick. You want to eat it, and then they somehow convince him to put the porg down. Like, why? Like, it's already dead. Eat the fucker.
Yeah, Beezy Bird Raylo is incest. That's gonna put it.
It is incest, and I know a bunch of people who, in fact, I'm gonna troll somebody right now, bro, about this. I know somebody who's a big Raylo fan. I'm gonna fucking fuck with him now, bro. Hold on a
Like
minute.
you don't know, like you don't.
What do you think about Raylo being made better now that the rumor is that Kylo and Rey are cousins?
Being made better. They're not cousins.
didn't know
They're
the
half
galaxy-
siblings.
I didn't know the galaxy had its own version of Alabama.
Maybe that's why they keep going to these desert planets.
Did you know that the new desert planet in the trailer is not even like Tatooine or Jakku? It's a different planet altogether. What about that bullshit? How many desert planets are there in this damn galaxy?
Oh my god.
You know what, bro? Mike's right. It is Game of Thrones all over again. They just want us to fuck our cousins, bro. I mean, they're pretty cute, but I mean, that's what they want us to do.
The
Raylo,
liberal media in the
liberal-
West Coast. They have an agenda. It's starting to look like they have this agenda. No, like, dude, you know my biggest issue with Star Wars and what they're doing with Episode 9 is the very fact that even though it might be, how do you say it? It might be indication that everybody was right and they understand that they kind of screwed up with The Last Jedi, which is probably one of the reasons they're not doing this. But the fact it makes much more business sense to be like, hey, we're just going to split Episode 9 into Episode 10 or 9 and 10 and make them less than 3.5 hour movies or however long they're going to be, and serviceable 105-minute movies, you know?
I don't think it's gonna be 105 minutes, bro. I think you're dreaming if you want that. It might be 3 hours, dog.
But I'm saying like if you cut it into 2 movies.
I mean, they're still gonna make them long, though. You know what I'm saying? They're still gonna make them long. I think.
But it's like there's just too much. I don't care what anyone thinks. I mean, I'm kind of I didn't particularly like The Last Jedi or The Force Awakens, for that matter. I watched your video, and I think you're right, because you were talking to me about this before you made that video, like weeks before you made that video, about how it's a creative failure.
It is. I feel like it is. I do.
But it's just impossible. There's no way that they're going to be able to put all of this together with a nice bow, even with 3 hours. There's too much that they have to bring up again that The Last Jedi should have taken care of, and for the most part, it feels like The Last Jedi thought it was taking care of all that stuff with your Snoke theory sucks and Rey's parents aren't really anybody or anything else like that. There's a big problem here where you allow this guy like J.J. Abrams to come in, put all of these mystery boxes and loot crates, basically the movie version of a loot crate with all of these teasers for the future of the story.
That's what JJ always does.
Yeah, but then you have someone else come in, just go, no, I don't really care. I don't want any of that. Flip it all off, like.
Well, I mean, you have to understand, Mark. I had a different idea, a different direction. Kathy came to my house. We played in my dollhouse. Came up with this idea where Rey's gonna be nobody. because you see, anybody out there, especially you powerful women out there, all of you women, you can be just like her. You don't need heritage. You can all use the Force because the Force is female, right, Kathy? That's right. Ron Howard never understood that.
Oh my god.
That's what you have to understand, Mark. You have to understand where he's coming from here.
So, I like the biggest problem there is that I don't like Colin Trevorrow. I never like. I didn't think that he was a good pick, and everything.
He only made one movie though.
He made two.
Right? Or two.
He made Safety Not Guaranteed or something, and then he made the Jurassic
World. Yeah.
But
AKA Steven Spielberg made that movie, bro.
AKA product placement, the movie.
More than Ghostbusters?
Yes.
Here we have Papa John's. Let's have some Papa John's pizza. 7-Eleven. I want a Slurpee. That's fucking Ghostbusters, bro.
I don't remember. Like, I just remember watching Jurassic World and being like, this movie, it's not even well shot. I mean, go back and watch the original Jurassic Park, and it's full of product. It's full of product placement, though.
Yeah, no, I don't have product placement. I never had an issue with that.
Unless it's too on the nose, and that's exactly what he did. And he's like, he comes out and he's like, so I had a purpose for that because Jurassic World is this big multi-conglomerate worldwide media organization. We wanted to bring that towards the movie by just showing a ton of products and just really kind of playing on the joke. And it's like, you see, that's only a joke if you make it a joke. And it's not a joke if you just show as many products as you possibly can in a 2-hour time slot. Like, that's not a joke. It's just product placement. And so,
I mean, a lot of these movies are, huh?
Yeah, but a lot of, like, even Michael Bay is more subtle than that movie. I have a hard time rewatching it because it's so bad. I mean, that movie, like, look, that movie has...
What about Independence Day when Jeff Goldblum shoots the Coke can off the ship, bro?
But that's hilarious. Like, that's hilarious, and that... It's just what
I like how Red Letter Media did an awesome review of why that movie's bad, and then Movie Bob did an equally awesome review about how that movie's good. So I don't know what to think anymore. I still love that movie, but it's really stupid.
It's really stupid. Like, that movie's super stupid. MJ left.
Why do you want to know? Do you like him? Do you want to date him? Do you have a crush on him? Is that what it is? He said BRB, but where is he?
Dude, MJ does this all the time.
Hold on a minute. I'm going to text him right now.
Hold
on. I'm going to text him right now with you on the phone. Hold on. Where is it? MJ. Hold on. MJ right here. Mark said you better get your small ass back in here right away. His words, not mine.
I don't think those were my words exactly.
I think they were.
He
went to the bathroom too. He's probably taking a huge shit. He's Mexican. When he takes a dump, it's gonna come out red as fuck, bro. It'll look like volcanic ash.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
What? Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh. But yeah, so I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. My interest level for Star Wars is kind of low. There's people who actually think that's not going to have any space battles, but they haven't rendered those in the computers yet, so we're not going to see any space scenes until the second trailer.
It would be kind of cool if it was just more of a character piece for 3 hours, but I mean, I don't know if you could sell that this day and age with the Star Wars. Like, the big thing about Star Wars is it's always been...
this is the finale.
Yeah.
See, what it should have been is, if they were smart, Last Jedi should have been the character piece. This movie should have been the big finale. That's the way it should have been. But instead, well, I mean, I had to show Canto Bight. I had to show the love that Rose has for Finn. Because remember, Mark, it's not about hurting those we hate. It's about saving those we love. And Finn was going to do that, but she stopped him because she's a horribly written character. I'm a great writer. I wrote on Breaking Bad.
Oh my god! He didn't write. He just directed the Fly episode, right?
Yeah, which is a wacky episode. I have no problem with that, but I mean, it's whatever, bro. Doesn't mean no Star Wars.
Hmm.
He's made good movies before. It's just that Star Wars is not one of them. And I'll
It-
stick by that.
in modern movie history, like he's the weirdest thing because I just remember the amount of excitement for him coming into the movie.
Dude, I remember talking to my friend Pedro, and I told him straight up, I go, I love this guy's movies, but I worry that he's gonna bring that indie fucking bullshit to Star Wars, and Star Wars is not like that indie fucking art house shit. I love those kind of films. He better not try that shit with Star Wars. And look what happened. The scene of Rey in the cave touching the wall. Fuck off.
Endless mirror realm.
I know the end that led to nothing, bro. There's something under the island. It's evil, and it led to nothing. If she would have fought a sea monster like it was, rumored, or if she would have like gone down there and fought like an evil Kylo Ren like Luke did, that would have been cool. But instead, she just goes down, looks in a mirror. Oh well, you see, it's supposed to mean that she doesn't need family as long as she has the Force and herself. Piss off, dog. What you did was waste my time, dog.
That's really, I don't know. Like, it's a really weirdly structured movie, and it couldn't justify almost anything that it had going on. The entire Canto Bight thing was just completely worthless. Ends up being completely worthless.
But didn't you like the fact that we took Del Toro and gave him a stutter? Oh my gosh, it was what character development? You see, he has a stutter, so he's imperfect, Mark.
And he also doesn't have terrible hair. That's different.
Well, who has terrible hair in that movie?
Del Toro always has terrible hair.
Does he? So I guess. I guess he has cool hair when he's the collector. I think.
Yeah, but like he always has like weird hair in all of his movies. Like that's it.
So let's talk about Ghostbusters for a second because Critical Geek brought it up. Your boy Trace liked that movie, 2016 Ghostbusters. Now, when I first saw it, I didn't hate it, but I thought it was really bad, like really cheesy. Well, when I saw the extended cut, usually extended cuts of movies make them better. This is an example of an extended cut of a film that makes the movie completely hateable.
Oh.
I don't understand how Trace could like that movie. It's really bad.
I've never seen the extended cut. I've only seen it once. I saw it in theaters, and the only thing I remember from that movie, straight up, is that Chris Hemsworth steals that movie.
He's very funny, and so is what's her name, one chick.
Yeah.
And we saw how funny he really is in Thor.
Yeah, like he's a very funny person, and I'm very excited. Like that's the one thing I think we're missing out on is with direction, and a lot of I think a lot of that movie.
Well, Paul Feig likes to do a lot of improv and shit. Well, you see, the girls were very very funny on set. And he has that super deep voice, even though he's kind of girly. The girls were so funny. All we did was just laugh all day. I just said, "Oh my god, I don't want to cut any of this out. It's so funny."
Yeah,
that's every interview he ever did about that movie.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the biggest problem with that movie is there's just no time to breathe. All of it is just kind of random nonsense where it's just all just them gaffing on set somehow makes it into a movie. It needs direction. If it was slimmed down, allowed to breathe, completely cut out or rework the beginning to introduce these characters and get the movie and the ball rolling, I think a lot of people would have liked it more than they did. The problem is it doesn't do that. It's one of those movies that didn't need to be made, and there was no justification, absolutely no justification to reboot it. Like,
there is called money.
Just put it in the same universe. Like, why does it have to be? I don't know.
Well, there's a whole what's her name broke it down. That channel that I like, Midnight's Edge broke it down, bro. Like what their whole plan was. Like they were gonna do a cinematic universe with like men or women, then men, then they combine, and they just never happened.
I know, but like you could still do that in the original concept. I mean, you still got all the surviving members of the entire the original.
Well, except for Harold Ramis, who is important.
Surviving is. They got
so Ray and Kylo gonna fucking make a retarded Skywalker baby, bro. Star Wars Episode 10: The Rise of Retardation. Is that what we have going on?
Oh my god, the rise of Skywalker. So they're gonna find.
I don't know
They're
if I'm
gonna
excited for Ghostbusters 3, but we'll see.
well, I'm not excited about Ghostbusters 3 because it's taking the Stranger Things model, and I'm done with that. I'm done with Stranger
Wait,
Things.
it is?
Yeah, it's supposed to be
So
kids.
it's going to be boring and pointless? Is that what you're telling me?
It's gonna be kids, like Ghostbuster kids.
It is?
That's what I've heard.
Ooh, I hope that's incorrect information, bro. I hope they change their minds on that.
I hope so too, but that's what I've heard. They're taking the Stranger Things model and making kids do it.
I think I'm the only person on earth who hated Stranger Things, bro. I'm so weird. I didn't like Breath of the Wild and I didn't like Stranger Things, and I tried. I gave them tries. I just don't
I
like
really liked the first season. I thought it was kind of a unique show. And then the second season, I think somebody was like, hey, this is 80s. Why don't we make Stranger Things, but like Stranger Thingings or something? Because it's just an Aliens ripoff where it's like everything is the exact same thing, but it's bigger. And I think like a lot of people don't understand why Aliens is good is because it's a completely different genre. And everyone who tries to do Aliens, like an Aliens type of sequel, is just bigger. It's the same genre. Like, you need to switch genres, you need to switch concepts and everything. And all Stranger Things the second season did was
I never made it past third episode, bro. I was so bored. By the way, Sayana, Ghostbusters 3 is the next one. The last one was non-canon Ghostbusters. That doesn't count anymore.
but it's still kind of Ghostbusters. It's the third Ghostbusters movie.
It is, but it's not Ghostbusters 3.
That's true. But I don't think they're calling it Ghostbusters 3.
Well, they're gonna give it some stupid name, the next generation.
Yeah, some subtitle.
Some stupid fucking name. I hate that, bro. Look at my fucking movie collection. Rocky, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5, Rocky Balboa. Fuck you. Rambo. No, I'm sorry. It's First Blood. Rambo, First Blood Part 2. Rambo 3. John Rambo. Fuck all four of them for doing that.
I know. The Rambo titles never make any sense.
No, I hate it. Terminator. Terminator 2. Terminator 3. Then Terminator Salvation. Take the numbers. Stop.
Take Terminator Genesis. We're going to fuck up the way you spell Genesis. Because it's an app and it's trendy.
X-Men 2. X-Men United. X-Men 3. And then it was X-Men the First Class or whatever. Oh, jeez.
There's too many to count. I mean,
there's too many numbers, bro.
Well, you know why they do that, though? Because people are stupid and they won't watch movies with too many numbers.
But I thought sequels were always made more money.
They don't. They open higher and make less.
That's true. Well, nowadays, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So people stop watching movies with the whole concept of subtitles is really dumb because people forget. It's weird to me, and as you said when we first started talking, you're right. It's weird to me because I'm inundated with this stuff. I can see that this is clearly the 8th Rocky film. So there's no reason to or the 6th. There's no reason to call it Rocky Balboa because it's Rocky 6. But people are like, oh, I guess it's not the first. I guess it's something else.
That's what I'm saying. Don't confuse people. Just call it Rocky 6.
I guess you could.
Look at Star Trek. Star Trek 1. Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier. Star Trek 6, The Uncharted Country. Then Star Trek Generations. I get why they did that because they were changing casts, but it was so nice to see the numbers on my wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sayana says Land Before Time 19. And yes, there are there's way too many of those, but yeah, there are that many.
The first one is good.
Yes. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones.
The second one is decent. The third one I didn't like. And the fourth one was okay. And that's when I stopped. I never saw anything past the fourth one.
It's like Home Alone.
The first one's way too sad, though. I can't watch that movie again.
That and We're Back. I always really liked We're Back.
Oh, I remember We're Back, A Dinosaur Story. I remember that movie. You ever watch Fern Gully?
I've never watched Fern Gully. What's that?
You ever watch An American Tale?
Yes.
That's a good one.
That
Especially
is a great
part
one.
2.
Oh,
now, did you ever watch Secret of NIMH, bro? The National Institute for Mental Health?
No.
That's a deep one, bro. Secret of Nymph is like one of the most fucked up fucking kids movies ever, dog. I'm surprised it even got made.
Oh man.
It starts off as a fairy tale and it winds up being this psychological thriller about like people who have mental problems. And it's an animated film for kids. Think about that.
Ugh. That
My
does sound
mom
like weird.
gave up at 10 to 15. You mean Land Before Time? She watched all the way to Land Before Time 10?
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
Jeez. I mean, I would have if I was younger, but I didn't like them after 4. I didn't like them any after 1, really. But
No, like I want to go back to what I was saying earlier though. I think having Colin Trevorrow direct Star Wars 9 would have been better than JJ.
really, even though you don't like him.
I don't like him at all, but I feel like
Yeah, but
having
you really don't like JJ. You
I,
told me that before.
I really don't like JJ, but I just feel like having JJ go back and now trying to salvage everything instead of just like, well, fuck it. Like I feel like it would have been cool. Like, well, fuck it. Like this trilogy is kind of out, so we just need like somebody to come in and just kind of reinterpret everything. The problem now is that JJ has to figure out, and he's going to be like, I made this movie. Ryan Johnson made this movie, and now I have to take everything he did, but somehow tie it to what I was trying to do later or earlier.
Yes, he has to fix the franchise. And he's probably
that's-
not going to do it. But
That's
we'll
too
see what
big.
happens.
That's too big of it. That's too big of a like. I.
Well,
the-
who could do it? I mean, who do you think could actually fix this?
But like, but that's my point. Is like, I'm not saying fix it. I'm saying just find an appropriate ending. I think it's too big of an ask on JJ or anybody else at this point to be like, JJ, you know that stuff you started like 4 years ago when you were, or 4 or 5 years ago when you were making The Force Awakens? Yeah, all that's been thrown to shit now, but we still need you to pick up the pieces from what you started and continue. And you know that's what he's going to do and what he's going to try to do in order to save the franchise, because that's what the
Now
fans
it's
want.
dead. Well, that's fine. We'll bring back Palpatine.
Yeah, like that's dumb. Like, and I don't care what anyone says. Like, everyone's like, this, like, people have been posting up theories and rumors and discussions like this was always gonna happen. Bullshit.
No, it wasn't. No, it's already been confirmed by several sources that it wasn't. I don't know who else is still saying that.
I don't know. It was when I'm just saying, like, this is what I saw when the first trailer came out. It was like, this was always gonna happen. It's like, no, like, how would you even have that idea in your head that this was always going to happen?
Yeah, because Kathleen Kennedy said that we were always planning to bring back Palpatine. I don't believe that. Nope. And like I said before, bringing him back hurts the character arc of Vader, in my opinion. It hurts the end of Jedi, if you ask me. We'll see how they execute it, but I don't like the idea. And I love Palpatine. I love that character.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars is dead, bro. There's just they've done so much damage to it. Like all 3 of these fools, bro. All this whole sequel trilogy, Kathy, Ryan, and JJ. They've done so much damage to this franchise. Carrie Fisher's dead. Like, it's dead, bro. I couldn't. I still will love the originals to death, and I'll even watch the prequels from time to time, and maybe even the TV shows. But the new stuff, I'm just not interested anymore.
How do you think The Mandalorian looks?
Looks okay, I guess.
I'm really interested in it, just because part of me is very afraid for Disney Plus to come out like deathly.
Why? I mean, I have an idea of what you're going to say, but I'm not 100% sure.
Because, first of all, it's going to be half the price of Netflix, which means a lot of people are going to go to it. But at the same time, it's going to
be
have
$5.
It's going to be like $7.
That's not half the price, but okay.
Yeah, like Netflix is going up to like $13-14.
It is?
Yeah.
Disney's going to squash them.
So it's going to be like that. And it's like $6. I don't know. But anyway. So that means like people are going to flock to it. It's going to have an unprecedented library of classics and modern day hits.
Why is that bad?
Okay, but this is why. Because they've recently done studies and stuff, and of course studies are always kind of bullshit undertones, because everyone's saying that streaming services are becoming a little too saturated, and that's true. Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, Apple, and their bullshit rollout for their we got Spielberg and we got J.J. Abrams and we got all this stuff. We're not going to show you any of our shows, but we're going to tell you the names. Like, it's dumb. Especially when you have Spielberg there months before that saying like he hates streaming services and thinks they're ruining movies. And by the way, I'm working on with Apple. I'm working with Apple, and I'm sure they're real happy with me. So that's stupid. But so Disney has all of this in their pocket, and they know this. And I'm wondering, because I'm an avid collector of physical content. I still like it. I feel like it's better to have physical content so they don't have a chance to get rid of it for you. But with everyone moving to streaming services, it's like you're renting content that you like. Every month you have to start picking and choosing what you're going to watch and what you're going to be paying for. And one of the biggest things for physical media right now, one of the things that keeps it afloat for the most part, is Disney and they're brilliant and at the same time, at least in my opinion, a little bit controversial Disney Vault concept, which is brilliant.
Well, what about the fact they charge $25 for a Blu-ray? Fuck them for that.
No, of course, and that's part of the Disney Vault thing. It's artificial scarcity because they only release a certain amount for every single generation, every single release, like new release. Because now that Aladdin's out, they're going to be putting out, Ultra HD or Ultra Blue HD Blu-ray copies of the original animated classic and stuff, and it's only going to be a certain amount of them. Of course, there's going to be thousands, tens and tens of thousands, but then they put it back in the vault, and you can't get any more of them.
They've done that for years, even during the VHS era, though. Remember?
But that's my point.
Coming out of the Disney Vault, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
But that's my point.
But wait, there's more. Bring home this exciting Disney classic for you and your family to enjoy.
So, okay.
I forget the name of that voiceover guy, but he's great.
One of the reasons why Disney has the Disney Vault is because Disney was really apprehensive at first about putting out any content on home video because there was a really viable market at the time to re-release movies in theaters and get people to go watch it that way. They controlled the market, and no one can own the content other than them when they can release a movie whenever anybody wants to see it. I mean, we've seen this in the modern day era when they were re-releasing their animated classics in 3D in theaters, and remember how well those movies did. I mean, Lion King came out in 3D just a couple years ago at the beginning of this decade and blew up in expectations. I don't remember the numbers, but I think it was close to like $100 million extra that it got. And so my worry is modern day Disney is going to look at this and think, you know what? It's way more profitable to just put everything on Disney Plus and have people pay us $6 or $7 every month. Or if we decide to up the price because we want to put more content out there and everything else like that, that we're just going to get away with the Disney Vault. And home media is already kind of dwindling as it is. It's not as dominant as it used to be. So if Disney gets rid of the Vault, it's been one of the mainstays and one of the reasons people, because they have so much content to release in their library and they do it so periodically, it's one of the reasons why home entertainment and physical copies continue to exist. If Disney gets rid of that altogether and just decides you have to get the stream, you have to rent all your content from us now, it basically does away or takes a huge blow to buying media.
They're not going to get rid of it, though. They're not going to get rid of 4K, not for a while. It'll be a long time before they're not going to get rid of it.
Sure. I mean, they're going to.
The reason why they do it is two words: scarcity effect. If they put something out and they say for a limited time only, get the Little Mermaid, and it's gonna make you want to rush out and get the movie because they say it's for a limited time only. That's why they do it. That's been their strategy for literally half a century. Literally half a century has been put stuff out, say it's limited edition, get rid of it, bring it back in a few years. They re-release Little Mermaid like what, 7, 8, 9, 10 times? Yeah. Every few years they re-release it, and it's like the same thing. It's like that's why they do it. Scarcity effect. They're geniuses. They know that if they tell people that's for a limited time, people are gonna freaking go for it. Look at the McRib. That's how it works in the world of science and psychologists working for these companies. They know how human beings work.
But but don't you think they can do the exact same thing with their
Wait till
library
they
and their
put fucking
content.
Tony Stark and Thanos in Kingdom Hearts, bro. Wait till that happens.
But can't you think don't you think they could do the exact same thing on the streaming network? The same thing that Netflix does. They
Oh,
just
you're right. You
cycle.
mean put it on and get rid of it?
Yeah, they can just cycle it out. They
Yeah,
don't have
but
to
the
keep it
difference
there.
is that people are willing to pay money to hold on to it forever. Streaming services is different because you can't see it if it's not on the streaming service.
Okay, but,
but
like,
if you own a movie, you can see it whenever the fuck you want. See what I'm saying?
I understand that, but the dumb thing about that, I think this goes back to like I think people are just fucking stupid, like idiots, fucking retards, because
Wow.
seriously, because
Exposed.
they recently did a survey because everyone's wondering how big or how small Netflix is going to be after Disney Plus and everything that's going on in the streaming networks right now. Everyone's competing and everyone's going to be taking off content from Netflix. Now, it's possible that these people are lying, but I don't really understand why you would say this. They found that 25% of current Netflix subscribers who were in the 18 to 49 demographic said yes to a survey question. And I don't know how deceptive or anything these survey questions were, or how much they're cherry picking. It's always possible and probably likely, but in that demographic, people said that they would cancel their subscription service to Netflix if they got rid of The Office. Bro,
Really? That one
bro,
show?
The Office is $54 for all 8 seasons, 9 seasons, however many seasons it is. $54. If you're going
to
no on DVD, that's all they have on the box set. But okay, but streaming service isn't I don't care what you pay for on Netflix or anything else like that. You're not going to be getting Blu-ray quality on Netflix. You'll be getting DVD quality, and it's right there in your house. If you're paying $10 something a month solely so you can watch The Office at your given,
you might as well go out and buy the box set. I agree with you.
How dumb are people?
I agree with you. If you watch it for one show, I get it. But I mean, you gotta also remember that sometimes these people split it amongst themselves. Like, it's $12, but if you got people paying you to borrow your account or whatever, that makes it a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm using one of my friends' accounts. I haven't paid for Netflix.
I'm using my account, but I'm also using my brother-in-law's HBO account. By the way, if I don't know if you have it yet or still or anything, but
yeah, give me the account, bro.
I'm not gonna do that. I would if it was just mine, but Barry, everyone's canceling
Barry McCockiner. I'm a big fan.
No, Bill Hader, his show called Barry on HBO is like the best show they have. It's so good. It's so good.
Who?
Bill Hader, the guy from SNL.
The only herder I know is Nerf Herder, bro. A scruffy looking Nerf Herder, bro. I've never heard of. I don't know who Bill Herder is, bro. Who is that?
I can't.
UFC Fight Pass is useless now, kind of, because now they have this thing on where UFC has to be through ESPN, and that's another problem right there. We can talk about some other time, but I don't know who Bill Herder is. I'm sorry. I'm very behind on this stuff.
I can't I know he's one of the grown-ups in the new It movie.
I don't know, but I'm gonna bounce in a minute, bro. I'm very tired. What were we gonna say?
No, I feel like I need to too. I need to get up in the morning. All right,
what?
I need to bounce too. This went on longer than I thought it would, but he's one of the grown-ups in the new It movie, like one of the grown-up kids.
Oh, talk about Nerf Herder.
I'm just saying it's a good movie. But
what do you think about It too, bro? I hope it doesn't suck.
I think it's gonna suck
because the last It 2-parter, the second part wasn't as good as the first one. So,
but it wasn't. Well, it was a TV movie. It was two. They split it up, but they didn't do like what they did with this new one. So they played it at the same time. So they kind of stayed more faithful to the book and telling back and forth.
Yeah, but they cut a lot of shit out too. But also in the book, it was different because in the book it was like back and forth. Like it was not like the first half of the book is the past and the second half is the present. They went back and forth and they had to put that. And they did the same thing for the movies. Same thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. It might suck. I'm gonna go see it.
I'm gonna see it. I think it's gonna suck. I truly believe.
Pet
it's gonna suck.
Cemetery was ass.
Yeah, I never saw that one. I truly believe.
The new one, not the old one. Sorry.
No, I didn't see that one. Jason Clarke, the new one.
Terrible. Terrible movie. I don't know how anybody could like that movie. It was horrible.
I think it too sucks because is gonna suck because you have they did the best they could. It's a strange book. It's a strange story, and you can't tell that story in a good way. Like they took all the serviceable parts, the stuff that you can boil down and make like a crisp, clean horror movie, and they did that, and now they're left with like all the really hard parts. And you also crippled your villain. That's my biggest issue with it, because the whole point of the first movie is that Pennywise isn't scary, and they learn that. And I don't care if they forget that. I'm the audience member who remembers watching the first movie, and I know that the point is that he's not scary and how to beat him. So
Yeah, you're saying that they already beat him. Yeah.
I'm not saying just because they already beat him. I understand that like the character they don't remember, but the whole point of the movie was this guy's repetitive. Like he's trying to scare you, but he only has like one trick, and I don't care if he switches it up every time. And by the end of that movie, I was bored. I don't care what anyone said. I'm bored by the end of that movie every time I've rewatched it.
I agree that the first time I saw it, I liked it and didn't really age well. By the way, Critical, it's actually not a terrible deal for that Funimation limited edition. Obviously, the quality is trash compared to what we were expecting, but you're paying $350 for a 291 episode anime, so you're literally paying about $1.70 per episode. So it's not that bad when you think about how much you're paying per episode, but the actual quality is not that good.
Plus you have the box, which will hopefully be nice, and the
box,
figure.
This guy
And
says,
the figure, it's a collectible.
the box.
It's a collectible. I'm allowed to say you get the box.
I know, but I'm not gonna get it because I didn't like what they did with the remasters.
Pennywise got a boost from the off-screen training with Cthulhu.
I saw that. I'm gonna bounce in a minute though because I'm really tired. I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta go to the doctor's morning at 8 a.m. So I gotta do another laser treatment, which I'm hoping will work.
I hope so too, man.
I hope so, bro. I actually felt good today after they did it, so I'm hoping tomorrow they can really knock this out.
Anyway,
I've got to call the other doctor and I've got to tell him I don't want his stupid injection. This guy wanted to inject me. The other doctor, the surgeon, wanted to inject me in the face, knock me out every like 6 months, and inject me with a needle right into my brain to numb the nerve and burn it. It's like, I think I'm gonna find an alternative first, and I found something, but I don't want to take. Can you imagine getting knocked out, getting sedated every single year, once a year? I couldn't do that.
but like, yeah, especially something being injected into your brain.
Into your
Let
brain
me give me a moment, guys. I'm just gonna end this right now. I hope everyone had fun. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Danny, thanks for coming out. I guess we're never gonna hear from MJ.
Yeah,
again.
fuck MJ for leaving.
He does this all the time. Anyway, guys, I hope everyone.
Don't ever invite him again because of this shit.
All right, guys. I hope everyone has a good day. We're out. Bye.